All right. Here we are. Sunday, and we're going to get right on into it. We got some scenery work to do here. So there's a couple things I wanted to go over. Pardon me. And go into our progress here. First thing I want to show you is, I think you might have just seen it, but if you go into the live weather, and it says live weather, what's the METAR here at Greensboro? Well, let's it says right now it's scattered at 2100, broken at 3000. Altimeter's 3017, right? Do you see any scattered or broken clouds? I for one don't. Maybe way out there. But not anywhere near this airport. Very interesting. So, who knows? I don't know. Well, nevertheless, there are some things to do today and some things to update you guys on. If you were here watching yesterday, first thing I want to do is this is the default version of Greensboro Airport, so I go into dev mode, open a project, and we've got the KGSO, what I call the KGSO rebuild. Hit the go button on that. And we'll come right over here and load up that BGL load in editor, and here it is. It'll take it a few seconds to load up, so you just kind of wait and chill for a bit. I'm going to come way up here because notice it does some weird thing with the terrain and how everything loads in if you load right in right away. Did it anyway. That the whole dang runway did it this time. I don't understand why it does this. So it just decided to put the runway in a valley again. I don't know why it did that. I don't understand why it would do something like that. Let's go way far away here. Come on back. Oh, did it again. Yeah, developer mode does some strange things. Alright, so let's go ahead and go project. We're going to close. Get rid of it. Let Flight Simulator do the thing that it does. Eee! And free fall. Whoosh. Alright, try to open it again. Load in editor. Alright, that seems to have worked better. So I'm going to pull out here. Not an ATIS, dude. If they're open, they've got an ATIS. Alright, so yes, sometimes these things happen where you get these weird little, hey, everything's raised up. Okay, so we can fix that. What I'm gonna do is come right on in, and we'll talk about some of the new stuff that I've done here in a minute. Also, select something, and then there we go. That's right, buddy.
What time?
Hey, calm down.
Watch it.
All right. Just trying to fix some of this absurdity here. Alright, we got all the tricky bits back down to the ground here. So, some updates. Things that have changed. This is the last time. I was starting to work on some of this the last time around. So I want you guys to see kind of what's gone on. So last time around I had started the apron work on this taxiway. So I went ahead and finished it yesterday. So this whole surface now matches the underlying pretty well. Isaac, man, good to see you. Happy Sunday to you. Isaac the drummer. Good to see you. Alright. So we started this yesterday. All this part of the that's only part of the airport. It's really just the northwestern part. That's why I called it Taxiway Northwest. This is part of half of Delta, all of Hotel 4, Hotel 3, Hotel 2, Hotel 1, and a little bit of taxiway echo down here, just up to the taxiway bridge. So anyway, I did all this is all one piece. See, when I select it, it goes all the way out to there.
Time.
And so let's take a look at what it looks like here. So what I've done, so I utilized the colorization option in Flight Sim. So when you come in here and you click on your apron, you go over to the properties here on the right, which I have on the right side currently, and you look at you can draw a surface. I can turn the surface off, etc. I've tried to get as close as I can to matching the excuse me. Wow, I frog in my throat. To matching the underlying color of the taxiway, which isn't perfect. I've got to tinker with it still a little bit. So I try to get it to a different color, a closer color. So when you zoom out and you turn it on and off, like it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on. You can barely tell the difference, and so it looks a lot more seamless in terms of what's going on. So I have an opacity setting. 215 is what I set the opacity of the whole thing to. Actually, I think I'm going to turn everything else up a little bit. So anyways, it has opacity set to 215, as I said, and then I did enable coloration. So you can go in here, you can mess around with it a little bit, and it'll change the color of the pavement. So the texture gives you texture, but you can change the color of it a lot. You can get pretty radical with the color. It's like I can get it to be all yellow. I can make it be very yellow. And then it would look like that. And it would be awful, and nobody would like that. So, alright, time to go. Sorry, don't mean to be dismissive of the guy, but that was just getting obnoxious. So there, back to normal. And so I've done that. So it looks a little bit more real, I think. But anyway, finished the whole thing. It got kind of difficult, but it was time consuming, I should say. The hardest part to do actually was this part right here. So 2 hours a day, Isaac. That is fantastic to hear, man. Only good things can come from that. And it doesn't always... The thing I know about practice is it doesn't always seem in real time like you're really getting all that better. But just really the most important thing is how your mind kind of evolves as you practice, and training your mind and your ear. So that's really good to hear that you've been doing so much. So if you can see this here, I was worried about this little part because I noticed that it was going to basically encircle this whole thing. And that's what I ended up getting to be able to do. In other sims, like X-Plane especially, doing what I did here in overlapping pieces of the same texture didn't play well with a sim. And Microsoft Flight Sim seems to have absolutely no problem with this. So I was a little worried about doing this. Maybe there's a better way to cut out a circle or cut out a polygon from inside. I haven't noticed one yet. X-Plane's scenery or airport editor or whatever it was went a long way with tutorials and stuff like that to teach you how to do this and keeping the texture kind of constant. But this one just overlaps a little bit, and it doesn't care. So that was not a big deal, and I think it looks all right. As you can see, when we go in an inspector, it looks just fine. So anyway, all these edges are custom made. Everything looks really, really sharp, I think. Nice. The curve doesn't look jagged, even when you're down kind of low. The curve looks good. Taxiing on the runway, on and off the runway, looks nice. So you'll notice down here on the sides, I've got taxiway lights. I haven't painted any lines yet, but I've got lights. So that is the biggest revelation. And in fact, I did that this morning. So I saw a post on the, I think, the Flight Simulator forum. Diddle quality, man. Ugh. I can tell you some things about diddle quality. My gosh, the elusive diddle quality. Anyway, so what I've discovered is there's this cool thing called in objects. You go to scenery, you go to objects. We don't want scenery. You go to what is it? Light row. The light row object is amazing, and I didn't think it would do what it ends up doing. And so here's what this object does. And I'll do one click placing just to make this real quick. You can get in there and doesn't want to do one click. So we'll add one, and I'm gonna because I'm not in scenery editor mode. Let's say okay. So we got the light row. Let's do one click. All right. Now it's just wanting to get silly on me. Okay, so let's get rid of these first. One click. Okay, so one click starting now. It's going to be there, 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 there. This doesn't seem to work right at all. Okay, so let's get rid of it again. Delete. Add. Here we go. So one there, 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 there. So that's it. Okay. So these are all going to be taxiway lights. And as we get down low here, we're going to see, oh, there's a taxiway light. 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 And they're kind of off-centered, which is fine. So that is a line of taxiway lights. And you'll see that if I go to time of day and make it nighttime, there's a line of perfectly evenly spaced lights. Pretty much. I think that might be a little smaller there. So they're evenly spaced. It spaces it at whatever interval it wants to. It's not really good if you're taking an airport like a real world airport and trying to go for realism / accuracy. And by that I mean putting the lights where they actually are in real life. So what you get is what you get. See, it sort of curves because that line I put in curves. Now, also, with these lights, you zoom in, what color does that look like to you? That ain't blue. That's purple. So the natural lighting gets purple as you get closer. Now, you might notice in real life, they kind of do that also. I'm glad the tip I gave you it's helping out, Isaac. That's awesome. It's all about trying to keep it as natural as you can. I mean, diddles shouldn't be something that you really have to feel. I mean, you want to feel every single note, but as you get faster, it's something that you really have to kind of just feel the individual stroke and not so much the second note. You're just going to kind of crush that second note in there. It becomes more and more like a buzz or a crush roll the faster you get, but you still have to make sure you're trying to feel and wrist as much as you can without getting super tense the actual strokes. Anyway, we're talking drumming again. So this is the predicament that you have. So how do there's no way to place I can place an individual object, the actual scenery object of the light, but I discovered that when I do that, it doesn't light up. So it just puts the model in. At least in dev mode, it didn't do it. I haven't tried it where I haven't tried to actually compile the scenery and see if it worked in the scenery. It might have, but I still don't think that was really the answer. So I was just sort of poking around in the forum. It's the same voice we heard yesterday. Oh, that's not even... You guys don't even hear that. Okay. Oh, man. I gotta... I'm sorry. This has been going in my ears the entire time, but you haven't heard it. You heard the music, but you didn't hear the ATC. So anyway, I've got that going in the background. So I was poking around in a forum and about looking for kind of this topic and discovered that this one simple thing about this... actually, let's get back in this editor mode so we can get rid of this line. This light row, it's wham, gone. I discovered that with this object, when you add one, there is the option up here in properties, snap to vertices. Is amazing. So you can preset the spacing between them, but that's not how anybody does it in real life. So you can actually go snap to vertices and then place your line of lights, and where you place those lights, or where you place those vertices, is exactly where all the lights are going to be. There won't be any in between. It'll only be on your vertices. So you can actually place each individual light this way and make it accurate. So what we've done, I keep saying we. What I have done, what I have done is just that. I've done that around this entire taxiway apron that I made. So you will see all these little yellow vertices around, and each of those is a light. And so the way I did that, the way I placed them is I used I used Google Earth kind of on my second monitor here to the side to kind of help guide me so I could see this better, because the resolution on Google Earth is a lot better than what you're going to get from from this from the Sims ortho scenery tiles underneath, I guess is what we'll call it. So anyway, you go to your apron, and I disappeared the apron so I could see straight through to the orthos. And remember, there's this weird texture, kind of crud texture that they put in above it, where it's got like little rocks and everything, and it's got this sort of worn look, because the actual ortho underneath doesn't look like this, where it's all dirty and stuff. It looks more this color over here, this kind of lighter color, which is what I was trying to kind of match with the runway and the apron taxiway colors. So still more work to come on that. But anyway, so it's hard to see through to exactly where these lights are. But like, there's a spot, there's a spot, there's a spot, there's a spot. It becomes kind of obvious after a while where the lights are. Now, where it becomes difficult to tell where the lights are is when you get to these yellow little hash lines. It's hard to tell based off of this photo because it blends so well, but there's a light there and there's a light there. So what do we do? Like I said, I was using Google Earth, and I was using the app, but I won't bore you with the app here. I'll just go maps.google.com because it looks more or less the same. So KGSO, Piedmont Triad. Let's go to that there, take all that off. We don't care about that stuff. So as we go down, zoom in, you can see much better on their data where these lights are. And they actually kind of stick out a little bit because there is dimension to these photos. These are all taken by an airplane, not by a satellite, and they're kind of at an angle all the time. So anyway, you can see where these things are. Makes it a lot easier. Now these actually might be embedded now that I think about it.
Contact Stanley Tower 126.27.
I don't think these are. These ones might be embedded. That's interesting.
Cherokee 5426 Foxtrot, radar service terminated. Contact Stanley Tower 126.27.
Because I don't see a little stem. But there's certainly lights. Something I'm just now noticing is stems disappear. Here they're all there, but on the end there, for some reason, there's no stems. Very odd. Huh. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to stick with stems just because I don't really care that much, and I think I'm not exactly 100% confident as to what I'm seeing here. So what are these? I don't know what those are. They're not lights, I don't think. So what the heck would they be doing there? but they're everywhere.
Greensboro approach 7643 Golf, inbound from the north.
And they're kind of evenly spaced.
Full stop. Skyx 7643 Golf.
These are little runway
Walk
lights.
0170, runway 23 right. 0170, 23 right, 43 Golf. Got 7643 Golf, radar contact 17 miles north of Greensboro. Make straight on runway 23 right. Greensboro, altimeter is 3017. 3017 and straight in 23 right, 43 Golf.
There's an embedded runway light. I don't know what these things are. Or embedded lights here. These are embedded touchdown zone lights. Embedded taxiway lights. It's almost like embedded lights, but I don't know. Really hard to know what those are. Oh well, I'm not turning my whole world upside down on this stuff. So these are all regular lights. Okay, I'm just gonna say they're regular lights. Anyway, so you can you can use multiple sources to sort of figure, oh, there is a light there, and then as you get into the sim, you can kind of say, well, there's some sort of discoloration there and there that makes it look like there could be a light there, and that's actually in reality where it ends up being. So that said, we turn it all on, go to inspector. As you get down there, okay, they're not showing up. Edge lights should be. Where are my edge lights? Show it. And now, for some reason, it's not showing them anymore. Where are my models? Oh, this is embarrassing. Alright, so do that. Got it. Alright, let's just give it a shot, shall we? So we go to inspector. I have to reload this whole thing again.
Greensboro, good afternoon. Premier 99 Mike November with you out of 15 forward across block 1212 out.
Premier 99 Mike November, Greensboro approach. Greensboro
Go to nighttime.
3017, expect ILS only 33 Winston Salem.
I should have guessed.
Okay, we'll expect to understand 3017. We do have Victor for Winston. We'll expect the ILS 339 Mike.
So now it doesn't want to show him. Ugh. Yeah. Now you don't want to show me the lights. Alright, so let's close it. Not saving. Oh wow, I just crashed the flight sim. Alright. Well, we'll take this opportunity to quick ad break. We'll be right back.
Premier 99 Mike November, descend and maintain 4,000.
We'll continue to 4,000 for 9 Mike November.
Sky 43 Golf, contact tower 191, see you. Over to tower, 43 Golf, thanks.
Interesting. Alright, you should be back. I think you're back. And we're trying to get this thing to load up again. There we go. It's finally shut down. We're hopping right back into it. tell you, dev mode is not always perfect. There are things that error quite often. UG host 9. What's up, my man? Yes, I'm a in real life air traffic controller. I do not control on VATSIM. I used to control on VATSIM a long time ago.
Premier 99 Mike November flight.
Right before I started with the FAA, but
33 localizer.
I do not any longer.
32 heading to
Nomad
Georgia,
Aviator,
for,
who's one of our good friends, does. He's done it a little bit as a sort of an educational thing. I'm not currently a member of any air traffic organization on VATSIM, so I'd have to go through training and do all that stuff to get certified, and I don't really feel the passion for doing that right now. It's I'm an active controller 5 days a week, so I don't feel the need to go in and do that. But I fly quite a bit on VATSIM. I enjoy it, and I'm definitely willing to answer any questions that even a VATSIM controller might have of a real-world controller, but and help out any way I can. But I don't feel like working virtual traffic when I'm at home from my job of working real traffic. So anyway, but yeah, so what I'm doing now is just making my home airport here because it needs done. Someone's got to do it, right? So let's try to see what happens when I get in the middle of the runway and load it all in. Open project, rebuild. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us and hopping in the chat for the first time. It's good to see you. Want to tell us a little bit about yourself? That's fine. Trying to kind of show off just how easy it is to do this stuff, so people can kind of be maybe inspired to go do this on their own. It's really easy. Did it again with the valley and the runway. Why does it do that? I don't understand why it's doing
Premier
that.
99 Mike November 20 miles from Reno.
Anyway, let's fly away.
Maintain at above 2,500 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS. Runway 33 approach Winston-Salem.
And fly back.
Present heading till established and 2.5 cleared for the ILS 33.
I've noticed that leaving the area and coming back to it kind of changes the way it loads in the topography a little bit, but it does not appear to have done anything differently this time. It's still deep down in a hole there. All right, so let's unload, close it, open it. You can see what it's doing and all this really weird stuff with the ground.
Approachment is 8720 Yankee 6500.
Let's fly up into the air.
Bonanza 8720
And fly
Yankee,
back down to the
Greensboro,
ground.
approach Greensboro, altimeter 3016.
That's better.
016.
Okay, so it's flatter now. Don't have that little valley effect. So what we do have is all these stinking nodes are raised up again. I don't build airports. I build this airport. This is all kind of new to me, so I'm learning as I go, but I'm having a good time with it. Helipads and hospitals, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm only doing the basics here so far, and it's a work in progress, and I think so far it's going all right. So I'm pretty happy with how this is working out.
Saratoga 94 Romeo, contact Washington Center 124.05. You have a good one.
All right.
24.05, 94 Romeo, see ya.
Honda 1 Echo Kilo, turn right heading 010 Victor ILS on approach course.
010,
That stinking little toolbar is the bane of my existence. I really wish Flight Simulator had never made this thing.
Bravo, Greensboro, departure radar contact. Climb maintain 12000, turn right direct Genie.
2000 to direct to where?
Genie.
Falcon 6 Golf Bravo, right turn direct Genie.
Okay, here we go.
It's the first fix on your flight plan, sir.
Premier
There you
99
go.
Mike November, contact Winston Tower.
We are listening to Greensboro air traffic. That's the airport I work at. I know a thing or two about how that operation works, so let me tell you. Alright. Okay, so all of these lights should be down at the correct level now. Apron. I have to do this like there's got to be some fix for this. This is just ridiculous.
Golf Bravo, I want to confirm 12000.
Falcon 6 Golf Bravo, affirm 12,000.
Now, of course, all the runway assets are lifted up in the sky too. But oh well. Okay, so we got all the rest of the stuff down. You'll see. Oh, this is also a new thing.
1 Echo Kilo, turn 5 degrees left.
My first taxiway sign. Now, I've noticed that these default signs are really hard to read, especially at nighttime. Like that right there. Can you tell what that says? You should be able to read it from this far away. So there's a readability issue, and I know there's some add-ons that you can get. Some of them are pay add-ons. So that makes it easier to see and read. I can make it bigger also. Maybe I'll just go with bigger ones. Anywho, what were we here to see? Oh yeah, taxiway lights. There they are. Now they're there.
52 Mike Charlie, Clinic, Monroe Airport.
So you can see them all kind of on these spots, which you can't see the spots because I've turned them off, or because they're covered with lights. But there's little spots right here on the actual ortho that they're covering, and you can see they go around the curve properly. They're here on the little hashes properly, and they space out different. They have different spacings as you get. So this is something that also they load in. You can see them loading in. Like I can't see any lights up here at all. And now as you get closer, there they come. So there's a definite level of detail aspect to the actual models of those lights, but as you will see here in a second, as I change the time of day to nighttime, all the lights render in. The light that they emit renders in, but the actual model does not. At nighttime, the model's still there. Like you can, I don't think you can see this, but there's definitely a light stand here. It's hard to see. It's probably really dark on stream. But they're there. So that's what it looks like now. You can see all of the whole taxiway. The spacings change as you go. That's one of the reasons you don't want to use just a standard light row object. Again, we're talking about object. You go up here, object type. Light row is the object I use to do this. If you do the snap to vertices option, which should be up in properties after you hit add, then every vertex you put should be a light. And that's how I did all this. So they space out properly. When you go around turns, they get closer together, which is why you see all this sort of concentration. But as you get straightaways, like here, they get wider apart. So I'm not going to pretend to know what every airport everywhere does. I just know what my airport does, and all the flights are in the right spot. So here's a problem.
Plans 2167 Alpha Greensboro, approach Greensboro, altimeter 3016.
When you click, so I'll show you how this is done. So go into the editor. I'm gonna do just under general tag. Actually, I'm just gonna do it right onto the airport, so it's easy to delete. But anyway, so I got the light row object. I'm gonna hit add, right? And you have to do a left control click for all of this. I don't know if right control will work. But anyway, so you left control click. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can see these things are going nuts below. Anyway, it's all crisscrossy. I did not select snap to vertices, so they're all going to be 60.9599999 meters apart. And has heading. These are omnidirectional lights. So that doesn't matter. But there's no. By default, this type thing will be empty, And this will not be here. I did this, and then you'll see where that comes from in a second. But there's no way to change it. They are all blue. The light row will always be blue lights. So only useful for taxi lights, you might say, right? Well, if they're all going to be blue, they're really only useful to be taxiway lights, because you can't do the centerline lights with them, you can't do runway lights with them, you can't do any of the other kind of lights with them if they're just stinking blue lights. So there's nothing here that says anything about changing lights. There's no properties to do it. So how the heck do we do it? It doesn't make it very useful, right? That's one of the reasons I did not originally use that object, the light rows, to make to try to do lights. I was trying to place individual scenery objects for each light because I figured that was the way to do it. That's how I did it in X-Plane. I placed each individual light by hand, its own model, and they just came on at night. They did the normal thing, right? So here's the secret.
And I'm just trying to figure out what
Airbus helicopters, which is great, and that same group did an amazing viewer, so I like Whirly Birds. I highly recommend them. So yeah, that's why you would want helipads at airports and on hospitals and stuff, I guess. That's pretty cool. Hopefully you had some success with that. I don't even know where to start with helicopter or anything, so that's a pretty cool project, though. That's exactly what this kind of, scenery editor is meant for. So good on you for getting involved with that. So this is what I discovered. This is what the scenery, the forum post that I found on Flight Simulator said. So this is not at all intuitive. I want to start by saying that this doesn't make sense, what I'm about to tell you. I'll lock some of these things up so I don't screw them up. If you click on in your scenery editor window here, if you go to click on the actual airport, the purple one object, you're going to see over here there's a bunch of properties, right? Get the name, the ICAO, the region, country, state, city, all that stuff. Piedmont Triad International, again, the airport name is displayed. Magnetic variation, I'm going to have to put something in for that eventually. Object test radius, stuff like that. Flattens, we don't want flattens. Star airport, this is not a star airport. Closed airport, that might be something I need later. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. But anyway, then you got generate taxiway signs. That's a terrible idea. Don't touch that button. Ground merging. I don't know what that means. Delete command. Delete all approaches. Delete all lights. All this stuff. I did this to get rid of all the taxiways and all their blast fences, all that kind of stuff. Frequencies. At frequencies, we're going to need to do that. But this last one is exactly what we need here. Light presets. You can set presets for your lighting types and do a whole lot of different characteristics here. So I'm going to show you. I did one preset so far. Light 0 is the preset. But you can, when you do this, you add a preset and it's going to give you all of these things. And so I named it, this one is Taxiway Lights Raised. That's the key, that they're raised. So what this is doing is setting a preset, the characteristics. So when you do go in and add a light row, like I'm about to do, like I just hit the add button, right? This type up here window, you can put a preset in it. So I say that every single one of these lights is going to be a taxiway light raised. Okay, so that's important. It's very important, in fact. And I'll show you why. Because when you go to these presets, look at the options you have. Incremental, you can say how far apart they're spaced. That's interesting. So you don't even have to do, you can set your own custom spacing. You can select the mesh, which the mesh just means the object. Like what object do you want to use? So I did that. I went in and found the actual default, this is what a light looks like thing for this, specifically a blue light with a blue lens on it. And so that's the one I used. It just so happens it's the same one as the default light row. that doesn't have a preset selected is going to be blue. So I mean, it's kind of just coincidental at this point. But you go here, you go add light. So this add light thing doesn't come up by default. So when you hit add a preset, it just does the select mesh, the name, and the increment, right? Then when you hit add light, it brings all a bunch of light characteristics down. So the type of light, is it omnidirectional? Is it unidirectional? Is there no light at all? Is it angled directional? What would be an example of an angled directional light? Well, an angled directional light would be something like a PAPI system, right? It's where it goes up at a specific angle, like a 3-degree glide slope angle. This is what it's trying to illuminate. Also, double angled directional. I'm sure there's some reason we would use that. I don't know what it is. And Fresnel, I don't know what that one is. There's probably documentation for this on the SDK documentation, so I can look into that. But anyway, no fade and no fade. Fade in, fade out. Fade in and out. No fade. I have a feeling, I haven't screwed with this yet, but I have a feeling that's good for like wigwags, because not only can you can set the radius of the light, the intensity of the light, the duration and period and phase of the light. So I think that has to do with if they're fading in and out, how long they do it. So you can do sort of side-by-side lights that are phasing in and out. And then the color is the most important part. So this is where you go in and say, this is what color I want this light to be. And it's all RGB basically, just like we were talking before. And you can do the whole color wheel, picking out an exact color that you want. And so you can change the colors of the lights. That is the really important thing. Rabbits. Yeah, rabbits would be the sort of the period, the duration, phase. If it strobes down, yeah, that's the phase. The phase is probably rabbits. It's good point. And you can actually kind of see I've got rabbits here. So that's interesting. I could hand place the rabbit lights. I actually do need to adjust these ones because they need to go at an angle, and they're not currently going at an angle. They're buried in the ground a little bit. Anyway, so you can custom place those too. How do you custom plate a light in the air? I haven't done it yet, but there's a way you can do it. There's also an object here, as you see in the objects window, called a light support. And I think you can draw a polygon that's up in the air that supports the lights in the air, because you can't attach the light to an object. An object basically doesn't have any sort of thickness to it generally. It's just walls and graphics. But so if you want to place them at the top of it, I think you can do that. But there's also this part, the relative bit down here at the bottom. It says kind of based on an XYZ axis. I'm not exactly sure what order it goes in. I don't think it's X, Y, then Z. But anyway, where the actual light on the object is going to be placed. So here's the model. Here's the object. Where is that light going to be? And for me, it's on right now. You can actually see it in there. It's right there in the middle. That's the problem with these things. They're always on. You can see a little blue orb in there. See if I can get a little closer. That would have been a good spot if I can get back to it. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, you can see it's on. So the default ones are actually a little bit lower than this. So the bottom is kind of cut off, but the light here I got way up here at the top. It just clears the bottom so you can see the whole thing. So you can do that too. Where is the light on the model? That's what it's saying. So all the way down, the lights are going to be displaced, be raised above just a little, however many inches that is in real life. And even though you can't see the model, you'll still see the light. So that's how you do that. And so you can make any kind of lights that you want. I'll show you what some of the I showed you what the options were. You can make them any color you want and in any combination that you want. So I think if I click on one of these individual vertices, I can change just that light. No, I can't. It's the entire row of lights has to be the same, it looks like. Or maybe not. It's hard to tell. Really hard to tell. Alright. Does it all have to be the same? Maybe it's just because there's no other preset. I don't know. I don't know what has heading does, if it has any effect on your lights. I think it does. So if you have bi-directional lights, or lights that are one light on one side and another light on the other side, and I think that's what you get when you get into unidirectional lights. Yes, here we go. Angle directional. Huh. Double angle directional. Fresnel. I don't know what the difference is, all of those. None. I think there's supposed to be a thing where you can do two different colors. I'll have to look into that. That'll be more on that later. See. Generate. Oh, don't have. So anyway, that is how you can change the color of the lights. So automatically, what this already kind of brings to mind is, I have this problem with these stupid lights being raised as they are until they get to this part, and then look, most of them are embedded, except this one. That one's not embedded for some reason. That one's not embedded. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. Why are these not going underneath like the rest of them? It looks really funky at night because you'll see a very uneven. You'll see that these lights are low, these lights are high. It's like it kind of bumps up and down, and it's very strange. And they're not even in the right stinking spot, right? So if I had my druthers, and I've just discovered this morning with this whole thing that we're talking about now, I have some control over these things. So let's see, runways, 5 left, apron. Here's where they really are. Here's where they are in the sim. I can place a light on every single one of these spots and make them exactly the same as what they are in real life now. Have the threshold and threshold lights, whatever these things are, make them the right colors, etc. So we can turn them off so that you don't need them anymore, right? You don't need them in the sim. I can deselect them from the runway object itself, so that they're not auto placed, and place them by custom place them. As you can see, there's kind of more lights than what there really are in real life, and they go off at a different angle, and they're placed differently, so they go wider than what I want them to. They're not even on the right surface. They're back behind the threshold. So these ones are right on top of the end of the threshold, so I can do all of that stuff. Also, another thing we can do, and I'm going to do.
2411 Romeo, contact Atlanta Center 125.15. Have a good one.
125.15, thank you.
Sorry, I'm going to slow down here. You say, I'm only an in real life student pilot, but have hundreds of hours on VATSIM, usually fly an Airbus or sometimes 737. I've P3D X-Plane 11 in my main sim. Yeah, okay. I was solely on X-Plane 11 until Microsoft Flight Simulator came out. Then I bought Flight Simulator like on launch day and was extremely disappointed with it, and it's come a long way since then. So I'm back into it. I kind of stopped flight simming at all, so not even a whole lot of X-Plane. I think I was like, wow, this sim looks Microsoft Flight Simulator looks so much better than X-Plane just by default. I want to be in that sim, but it needs to mature a lot. So I was just like, I don't even want to go into X-Plane anymore. So I kind of moved away from that, and now I'm solely in this sim. But anyway, I like X-Plane 11 a lot. I don't think I'm going to get X-Plane 12 just because I don't think it's going to be able to touch this sim anymore. But anyway, I came back to my PMDG. Yeah, now the PMDG and the fly-by-wire is what brought me back. But now that PMDG is here, I love PMDG stuff. I have my opinions about their latest offering. I like it. It's worth flying. It's worth, obviously, a must get. I like Boeing airplanes, so I have the PMDG. And I've flown it, and I like it. So when I do flying, you'll see my other VODs if there's any left, and on my YouTube page I have some video of me flying the PMDG. I don't think I've ever done a stream on Twitch. I'm trying to migrate over to YouTube, so do click on the YouTube link in the About Me thing, and if you can, get over there, throw me a subscribe, because I'm trying to get the viewership up on that so that people can find me there. Because the quality, I can stream at 1440 60 without any problems. I've got the right equipment, I've got the bandwidth and all that stuff. I can do it. So I prefer to do it in a higher quality. It's much better viewing experience and everything. And you can really enjoy things like this, all that this sim has to offer, really, when you can see it in a high definition and in a scalable, like 1080 60 at what they give, at the bandwidth that they allow affiliates like myself on Twitch to use is so bad looking. It just it's not enough bandwidth. They don't give you enough bit rate to really do a sim like this justice, or especially fast gaming. So YouTube's the place to be. That's kind of my long answer there. I'm rambling like crazy. Do I have the Phoenix yet? I don't have the Phoenix. I'm not doing a lot of flying currently. I'm actually doing a lot of general aviation flying, which you'll see on my YouTube page. I've got me flying in a Cherokee, or a Piper Warrior technically, and I love that plane. And that's the plane I learned how to fly, and I got my private pilot's license in a Cherokee 140 with a 160 conversion, I think it was. But the Warrior is basically the same airplane. It's just higher. It's just what is it, 151 horsepower or something like that. 150 horsepower. So it's the same plane basically. So I'm having a blast flying that thing, and I've been messing with the GPS units, and I bought one that I'm kind of regretting that I bought, but the add-on for it. But and now I have the 310 also, the Milviz Cessna 310, which I want to learn to fly. I don't have see this desk, it's round, right? I have a honeycomb throttle and a honeycomb yoke. My son likes to steal my throttles, as he has done now. I don't even know where they are. But this round desk, I can't put the yoke. I can do the yoke, but I can't put the throttle right next to it without it digging into my ribs. So I haven't been using that throttle. I'm really kind of bummed about that, because I really want to use it. So I'm gonna have to come up with a fix for that at some point. But so no, I have not flown the Phoenix yet. I want to. I plan to. Actually, let me take that back. I'm interested, but I'm really not all that interested, because I prefer Boeing over Airbus is one thing, and I've flown the fly-by-wire a lot. I don't get a whole lot of joy out of flying that thing. It's nice. The Phoenix, from what I've heard, is has some leaps forward, but that I hope PMDG will catch on to in terms of how they use their EFB and stuff like that, and the actual experience of flying it. But yeah, I'm not on the Phoenix thing yet. I probably will at some point. But to be honest, even before, when I had what was it? Flight Factor did an A320? I flew that thing a little bit, but I prefer the Boeings. And the one thing that I was always sort of lamenting in X-Plane was that PMDG never put any of their airplanes in there, especially the 737. When I do flights, especially on VATSIM, I don't like to do long haul. So flying the really big heavies like 777s and stuff like that is like, I don't fly the routes for that, so I go kind of short to medium hops, and that's it. I like to get a lot of takeoffs and landings in and everything, and I don't like to just sit there at I'm not that interesting of a guy, so I don't like to sit up at cruise trying to entertain my stream for hours and hours. But maybe I'll do more of that later. But yeah, so for right now, for my schedule, I've got 3 little kids too. I can't give multiple all day type of hours to a single flight. And anyway, so I don't have the Phoenix yet, that has nothing to do with that part. But I'm kind of feeling okay where I am right now with flight sim add-ons. I want to do more GA stuff. I feel like there's not enough people out there doing GA, so that's maybe the part of the sort of market, I guess you'd say, that I can kind of serve, especially with streams. And this is the right sim for it. That's the best part about Microsoft Flight Simulator is VFR is like a thing worth doing now. VFR flight, or even low and slow GA IFR flight is worth doing, because there's things that you can see out the window and they're real. It's like you can see real landmarks, you see real buildings placed where they actually are that look like the actual buildings. You see the highways, you see all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't look auto-gen fake. So it's worth it. And so yeah, so I'm enjoying doing that stuff. Doing it with the flight, like flying a Cherokee or a Skyhawk with an actual flight yoke, and not this thing, which I used tons with the fly-by-wire, is so the yoke is ridiculously real. It changes things so much. Flying with the joystick is not right. You shouldn't be flying it with the joystick on a flight simulator, unless you're flying an Airbus, I guess. But wow, I'm talking a whole lot. So anyway, I'm going to be redoing all these lights. I can also set up a preset so that it's lights like the runway lights. So that's going to be another project, is let's set up the runway lights to be exactly like they are in real life. And I can even go one further and find the embedded models and set up the lights so that they're on the embedded models, and I can do the centerline lights. Because let's look at something here. At least at this airport, I'm not saying this is at every airport, but here's a light. You can't. There's a light. There's a light. There's a light. You'll notice at most airports, the embedded centerline lights are not actually on the centerline. They're always off to the side. So that's, and you'll notice by default, it puts them in the center. So we'll be able to do that. We'll be able to place every single light pretty much on this airport exactly where it's supposed to be. As long as we have good data, thanks to things like Google, the Google machine here. Look at all those. You can see every single one of those lights. And you can see the fact that they're always left of center line. You can see the touchdown zone lights. I'll bet you can even see these are embedded approach lights, I think. ALSAFs. Hard to tell if those are embedded or not. I don't think they are, actually. I think they're stemmed. But anyway, so you can see where every light is, as long as you know what they are. Here's all the edge lights out there, so we can place those in the right spot, and then I still don't know what the heck these things are. They're at kind of a common... I don't know what those are. Possibly there for future use or something, I don't know. Now, if I can figure out how to... So the next frontier on all of this, for me, is starting... I'm going to be getting into painting lines soon. So, you'll notice this is, I think, kind of an American style. I don't know if this is everywhere. But very popular now is black bordered. So this black background for contrast on paint. You don't need it on edge lines because those aren't really as important. But the center lines, and then the location signs, always have black borders around them, and that is again for contrast. Even the runway markings, like these touchdown bars, the edge lining has a black border on it now. Centerline lights have a black border on them now. So that's the way everything's going, and the sim doesn't do that by default. You cannot get black borders on your lines in the sim. So I'm gonna have to either download somebody else's custom line textures, or I'm gonna have to create some or something, or I don't know what I'm gonna do, because we need to get some way to get black borders on these lines. So let's show you an example of what I'm talking about. I just happen to have one handy.
ExitJet 504, just waiting for center to take the handoff.
Here's an example of what I'm talking about. It's doing this stupid thing again.
504, you can contact Washington Center 124.05.
Luckily, to fix
Have a
this
good one.
little problem with flying vertices, you just click on the... All you have to do is click. You don't even have to move the little Z axis, the Z axis, and it goes right back, snaps right back down to the ground. It's just when they first load in, they're not... The ground elevation is constantly changing, so it needs some help. So this is a painted line object of your hold short lines, and you can see...
49 Lima Papa Roger, I'll blow it for you in about
Where is
7 miles.
it? Here we go. That's it. So you can see the you can see kind of the underlying. Let me there we go. This is what it looks like, really. All those black borders and stuff.
Air 4999 Sierra Greensboro.
And this is what the painted line
3016, 4209 Sierra.
Citation 5 Juliet 30.
would look like on top of it. It's ridiculous, right? So there's no black border at all, and it's the wrong color. It's bright yellow, and you can see kind of it's an orange, right? It's like an orangey yellow, more of a goldish color that they use in real world. So I've got to figure out some way to change all that. There's no, as far as I can tell, you can't colorize yeah, there's no way to... You can change the material that you're using. Optional material up here on the painted line thing is the texture. That's how you change the texture. I don't know what those do. But anyway, this is a hold short line backward. So backwards means it goes up. I don't know why that is. And it's lighted also. So you can see that it also puts in its own embedded lights, which don't wig-wag at all, by the way. So that's an opportunity, again, to put in our own lighting and make it so that it alternates. Because hold short lines do that now. All the airports are kind of required to do that. Anytime you're going to build a new runway, there has to be pulsing lights that go back and forth with a big light box next to them that has bigger lights that flash, that stand up from the ground, and those are called wigwags. So, oh, there's one over here too. So there's lights way out here, which isn't even on the paint, but it just does whatever it wants. So it's not accurate, and I don't want that junk all over my airport. So now, something that this is, let me look at this one more time. It's hold short backward marked. The L at the end means it has lights. Marked is the point, is important because it's going to automatically put down these markings. Is it going to put them in the right spot? I highly doubt it. So we'll have to mess with that. We'll see if we can get them to move and stuff. But so we'll see. We'll see if that's how customizable that is, because I might have to actually paint that whole thing myself too. X-Plane had a really good way to do that and to make it close. I don't know if Flight Sim has that without having to put an individual texture in for every one of these and just place it as like a decal. I really hope that's not the case. So anyway. So that's where we are. So I've learned a lot of things in the last day since I did my last stream of building all this. I've placed a whole lot of lights in there. I finished out that apron. And I purposely have not started doing any lines yet because I'm kind of trying to figure out what I can do for those. Also, there's more markings, like there needs to be decals that they can place. This is a... I'll show you this. This circle with a number inside of it is for what's called SMIGs, which is a surface something rather control system, something like that. When in super low visibility, we're talking like dense fog where you can't hardly see less than a quarter mile visibility type of stuff, where you can't see around the airport very much. You can't necessarily see the taxiways that you're going to and to hold short of and stuff. These are, they're supposed to be placed right next to the center line, so an aircraft can go see this 21 and you say hold short of spot 21, and they stop right there, and they wait until you know that's, or their reporting points. You report spot 21, so passing spot 21, and then we have a map, so the kind of like non-radar style. This is the hold short line there, by the way, for that spot. Most of these spots will have a hold short line associated with them. I think all of them do, in fact. So as they get to these various spots on the airport, you know where they are. It's kind of a non-radar way of working ground control by having reporting points. There's spot 14 with that little line. Spot 13 with a little line.
Reduce speed to 190, then descend and maintain 3000.
Down to 190 and then down to 3000, Jet 455.
Spot 2, spot 11. It's directional. Anyway, so yeah, these spots kind of I don't know if I'll be able to make that circle by default. I might have to custom do it. I don't know if these will be makeable. We'll see. It's all part of the process. I'm learning as you're learning. So I'm just trying to kind of show you some of the stuff I've learned so that these things don't seem so difficult. Let's turn this back on. Now, turn that apron back on so that it doesn't look as bad. In inspector mode you go into and it's like, hey, I can see everything. So anyway, you look at it. The taxiway I put in, the apron stops there, and it looks seamless. You can't tell that that's not part of the scenery. You know, that's not the ortho photo. It doesn't really stick out that way. It looks pretty good. So I'm happy with where this is all headed. So anyway, just a lot more work to do. I started over here because this one's all. It's not a ton. I don't have all these little extra taxiways. It's very simple. There's one long taxiway with a couple of connectors and one runway that I can kind of start with and test things out. So it's sort of my springboard for the rest of the airport. Learning the technologies and applying them elsewhere is what I plan to do.
25.15, 1%.
So, yeah. So if anybody has any questions about those, you can let me know. You can get in contact with me on any of the About Me little links or over on the YouTube page if you like. You can get a hold of me there. That's where I prefer everybody try to migrate to. But so I know the VOD for this won't be available forever. I'll probably upload it, as I've just done that with my latest video, I think, on YouTube. Did that upload? One from yesterday. I don't know if it worked. Tried to do this export thing, but I don't notice that it's actually done it on the YouTube side. Well, anyway.
November 6 Delta Bravo, descend and maintain 4,000. 4,000.
So yeah, lots of work to do. I'm pretty happy with where we're at.
November, turn left, direct Tricia.
Left direct Trish is going to be...
There's some weird things that go on, like these roads are elevated, they're floating in the air. I don't know why they do that. So at some angles it looks like these cars are just driving across water. Like that. Looks like he's driving across the water. Very strange. I haven't deleted the roads. It's not something I included in like the excludes. So every one of these is like a road object placed on. This is a perimeter road for airport vehicles only, really. And it's put just a regular road there. So you'll get these things that are just like, there's a service road. This is a service road for the airport to use. This is the road that, here we go. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. It's like fuel trucks can come down through here. And then there's like baggage cars and stuff. But you'll get just regular car traffic just driving around. Of course, they're in the ground right now, which is awesome. This one ends right here, I guess. But this, in the sim, this thing gets very populated with a whole lot of traffic, like regular road traffic. When it absolutely shouldn't. So I'm going to have to change all that. Make sure that all the roads work correctly. And then, is that tiered? That's kind of cool. There's, this is so, isn't it weird looking? So there's 3D models of cars, and then there's the 2D photos of cars, and they don't line up whatsoever. I don't know how to delete this object, by the way. I don't know how to get rid of the car park object.
8080 Alpha Greensboro approach to request.
Like all those cars parked. I don't know how to get rid of that.
8080 Alpha is a...
Because, I don't know,
Sniper
maybe it's
Warrior.
there's a couple of objects that are kind of just persistent that I think I might have found a fix for, like these
5
wind
miles
socks.
to the east of
Like,
Echo
I
X-ray,
excluded all the
X-ray,
models and stuff and
climbing
buildings and everything. I don't know why there's still wind socks.
3,900 for 5,500.
And then there's not a
November 516
wind sock in the
Delta
spot
Bravo,
where the
turn
actual wind
left
sock of the field
heading
is either, so
200.
it's
Left
very
turn
strange.
200 Delta Bravo.
November 8080 Alpha, squawk 7273.
Fly over to this side of the airport.
7273
That's where the
for 80 Alpha.
anemometer
November
is and
516 Delta
RVRs.
Bravo. If you get the airport in sight, and let me.
This is
and
where
want
the
visuals, let me know.
wind sock is. You can actually see this. Yeah, you can see the
We got the airport.
shadow of it there.
6 Delta Bravo.
It's the
November
main
6
wind
Delta
sock is
Bravo,
it's
Roger.
lit. And there's this
you
thing.
can turn right heading
I mentioned this
220,
yesterday,
and I
so
gotta
if I'm
coordinate, see if I can get you
repeating
lower.
myself, excuse me.
Right turn.
This is the rotating beacon. It's actually right there, and it's much smaller than this. Much lower profile. So, how do I get rid of that stinking thing? I don't want that there. And there's like more wind socks. Every runway end seems to have a wind sock, which is also not true to real life at this airport.
Runway 33, you can contact Winston Tower
But it's
123.75.
they're just everywhere.
Clear visual 33 over to
Get these
tower,
things out of here.
and,
So yeah.
scattered at
So I gotta figure that out.
more than 10
There's also like these little houses, like this is the ILS localizer antenna right here. Okay, how do I get a model for that antenna? I want an antenna model. Someone figure that out for me. And it's a little house, localizer house.
Wing 483, Roger. Turn
A little
right
housing
heading,
for the
140,
systems that run these
picked up
things.
to follow the citation there.
There's another one, localizer antenna right here for this runway. Glide slope antennas, things like that. I gotta figure out how to add those in. But I'm learning Blender, so I've just started. It's gonna take a long time. I don't know if I could possibly ever model this all the buildings on this airport, but I'm gonna kind of try to at least do some of them. We'll see how well it goes. If it's a unmitigated disaster, then I'll bail out and we'll try something different, I guess. But that's what I want to try to do. Here at Cherokee 901 Whiskey, that's the aircraft that I got my private pilot's license in. And that's my instructor that you heard there talking also.
Clear wing 483, descend and maintain 2,500.
2,500 climb report there.
Just like looking at it. I don't know. Something about airports. Airports are so cool. This is like the perfect size airport. It's got runways. It's got capacity. It's growing. But it doesn't have a ton of traffic.
Greensboro departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 12,000.
See, the weather has actually moved in since I started this stream.
Was it
An hour and 15 minutes ago there was no weather. Now it's here.
Yes, it was. We can talk. Roger, you're in Raleigh's airspace now. You can contact Raleigh approach 132.35.
32, 35, we can talk today.
Good day.
Vertical Sim or some other company just released Piedmont Triad for him. Yeah, it's been out for a little bit. It's available in the marketplace. It's absolute crap.
November 5, November Romeo.
So I'll bet they're better at modeling than I am. 3D modeling, I have like zero experience doing it. I'm on like how to make a donut, like tutorial mode right now. So there's that. But there's a lot. There's actually quite a few really good.
050 climb report there.
Oh, that's good to know. There's a couple of really good tutorial videos on YouTube of how to do this stuff specifically for a flight simulator. So that's kind of worth checking out. This says that my export to YouTube completed. So what does that mean? Your Twitch export to YouTube succeeded. Your video, I'm building an airport, has successfully been uploaded. Watch it here.
Clearwing 483, clear visual approach runway.
Oh, that's still processing. That makes sense. It's like almost 4 hours old. 4 hours long. Okay. Cool. So I'm tinkering with the how to.
Number 901 Whiskey, proceed on course. Actually, you wanted an RNAV, don't you?
We'd like to go direct way there. Again, we can do this on our own.
901 Whiskey, Roger.
proceed direct WADAG.
RNAV approach.
WADAG
Nice.
downward.
So anyway,
Number 8 Foxtrot Mike, contact Raleigh
gonna
approach
start
132.35.
uploading all my VODs to
3.35
YouTube the day
Foxtrot.
after I do them, if I can. So there'll be more. There will be more content. So yeah, it is.
Atlanta Center, 128.8.
I don't think it was vertical sim. It was
180,
whatever the
Atlanta 615, November.
whatever that funky like mega scenery or not mega scenery. It's something like that. Some weird name. It's like most of their stuff is like 3 stars max, and yeah, it's sad. MFS Scenery Builders. They're like I said, their work is not great.
November, 75
Yeah, they're
Alpha,
grabbing money.
maintain 5,000.
The screenshots I seen, it's like, wow, this is not good quality. I prefer the default. So it's really kind of shoddy. And from what I've been told, I like on my YouTube channel, I met a couple of guys that actually fly in and out of this airport too, on Flight Simulator. Or I met them on Flight Simulator, but they in real life fly in and out of this airport and are doing flight training and stuff, or have in the past and fly in and out of this airport often and in the area. And one of them said they had it, and it said that it doesn't even have the right taxiways, like named and stuff, which is also a problem with the default scenery. It doesn't have the right taxiway names, so that's a problem. You know, doesn't have the right taxiways or everything labeled correctly, missing a lot of buildings, stuff like that. Which, to be honest, this scenery does as well. The default scenery, the biggest thing is this bunch of trees right here is all like, now it's ramp, and there's a massive hangar that takes up all the rest of this space. It's huge. And then in this sim, this taxiway stops right here. When in real life, for many years now, I've been at this airport working for 6.5 years, and it was there years before. This taxiway goes all the way to the end. In real life, it doesn't here for some reason. So that's stuff that needs to get added, and that's what custom people like myself are here to do. You know, to complete these things and make them better, improve them, give you better, more high fidelity versions of them. So I'm not saying that this is production level stuff. I'm not saying that I'm going to release this and charge anybody any money for it, but it's a little pet project, let's just call it for now. And I'm hoping to get it done. First thing is just the actual infrastructure, the taxiways and runways. I want those to be accurate, and then we'll start getting into buildings and stuff, vegetation. Like I've completely ripped out all the trees and everything because I just don't want to have to deal with all that, and I want it to perform well for as long as I can inside of the dev mode scenery editor. This is something that's forever going to bother me too, I think. These markings. I might have to start putting custom markings down, because these just... if all the lighting and everything is going to be hand placed, I might as well hand place the markings too, right? Because this intersection is hideous. It doesn't look like that or anything like that. So, ugh. Like Captain Sim. Yeah, I don't like those guys either. Yeah, they're just in it for the money grab, and the newer simmers yeah, it's for people who don't know any better. Yeah, it is kind of sad. That's all right. That's why you have people like YouTubers and Twitch guys to review products and everything like that to keep people from making those mistakes.
November 47 Foxtrot Alpha, descend and maintain 3,000.
3,000, 47 Foxtrot Alpha.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when you got default assets, right? It's just, oh, we got 2 runways that cross. Well, let's just mungle it all up. Also, something that's kind of odd. For some reason, the first set of markings it's only one bar on each side. It's supposed to be 3 bars on it. So it's supposed to go 3, then 2, then 1. Well, it's only doing 1 there. It's supposed to do 3. I don't know why it's doing that. And then in real life, these single bars are not actually there. They just doesn't bother showing those because they're so close together. It's only a 6,054 foot runway or something, 56 or something like that. It's not that long. So anyway, a lot of custom work. If I can, I'm trying to decide if I want to do all of this with default assets, because if remember the X-plane, what is the scenery gateway? I designed this, I redid this whole airport for the X-plane scenery gateway. I never actually published it. I was getting ready to, but then by the time I was getting close to being done with it, I started using Flight Simulator and I stopped using X-plane. So, but anyway, I've done this airport like 2 times already, and so this is kind of third time, but it looks so nice now, and it, like all the airport assets that you have, the objects and the options, the properties, the things you can change about them, the customization, the fact that I can change the color of the aprons and everything to make it match real world is something that you couldn't do in any other sim. So this is the place to build. It is definitely nice, but the decision is like, do I just use default assets and try to make it as best as look as close to whatever as I can? I guess I could do that, but we'll see. It's nice to learn some new skills, you know, and learn how to model do some basic square building modeling. Most airport buildings aren't really that complex. They're mostly very, very square with maybe some pitched roofs. Even terminals, like, there's nothing specifically difficult about this terminal. I'm gonna have to do some terraforming of the Earth, which there's tutorials on how to do that. That's not that hard. Change the levels of everything to make sure it all lines up right and it's actually at the proper spots. But yeah, man, it's kind of fun. It's just fun learning these skills and learning how these things work, and kind of just interacting with it and seeing, hey, I can make this better. But like I said, step one is I have to get the taxiways and the runways correct. I've done the runways already. Now I found more level of detail I don't want to go into with lighting and with markings. So there's more frontier out there. But there's all sorts of room to customize these things a lot with just the default assets. So I'm pretty impressed that you can do all this much with it. And the fact that you can do it live in the sim is also a new thing, so that's pretty sweet. Now, what you see in the dev mode scenery editor isn't exactly necessarily always going to be the same as what you see when you actually compile the project and load it in without dev mode. So, like, all this weird, like, warping of the ground and stuff like that won't happen outside of dev mode. I don't think it should. That's what they tell me anyway. So that won't be a factor anymore. I love just flying around and like, look at my work. It looks great. My goodness gracious, it looks amazing. Okay. So if I were to start another part right now, what should it be?
1670 Greensboro departure radar contact, climb and maintain 12000.
I kind of feel like this side of the airport needs the next set of attention. Although, I don't know.
Number 525 Delta Charlie, fly heading 355 vector to final.
Having the Kilo Echo Delta taxiway is done, and being able to access this runway would be kind of a big step too, because I could actually start using this scenery like full time on streams and stuff if I could just spawn in at the ramp and taxi from the ramp to a runway. This is the only runway that's open right now, so that would be the one I would choose. In real life, that is. Because this runway is closed, this runway is closed. This one's going to get resurfaced, and it just happens to be the portion that's down here. So that means this runway shuts down too. So this runway is shut down probably for another week. And then this one is until like November, December, something like that. So... and then that project will be done, and they'll probably move on to the next runway. Resurface. I don't imagine they'll do this one, but 1432 could definitely use some help.
November 8080 Alpha for right altitude.
So maybe I should do that. Let's do something really easy here.
Or not altitude plus 500, so either 5,500 or 7,500.
I am going to show you guys
We'll climb this 7,500 for 80
how easy this is
80 Alpha.
to do. We're just going to do this taxiway bridge. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to get right above it. Kind of be a... oh, there's a thing for this. What is it? Window, options, top-down camera. Boom. so this will not angle at all.
Contact Atlanta Center 128.8. Good day.
28.8 Delta 67.
Just stays top down the whole time.
Departure driver 5088.
And this actually almost looks like there's an overpass, an underpass. But of course, it's all flat and on the same level. So we'll do this. So I'm going to go show you how this is done. This is super easy, this part here. And it doesn't have to start perfect. That's the important part to remember. So we'll go into the editor mode. We're going to do away with all this. Don't need runways. It's open right now. Line. Okay. So I'm going to do just in taxiways. I'm going to be... It matters where you are in your hierarchy because that's where it's going to load in the next object that you add. So I'm clicking on the taxiways little group thing here because I want this next object to go in there. So we're just going to go to an apron, add, and yeah, see, so it did the apron under taxiways. This is a different folder under taxiways, but this is at the same level as the folder. Not inside of the folder, it's just the same level. It's in taxiways. So here's the apron. You're going to right control.
Turn heading 140.
See, is there a snap? Snap to normal. Let's see what snap to normal is. I don't think it did it. Doesn't have to be perfect when you first start the first ones. And then enter. Okay. There it is. There's a piece of whatever this is. So, I just drew an apron. There it is. They by default, you see it's the opacity is set at 255, which is basically almost 100% you can't see through the thing. There's just a little bit of transparency that you can see through. Still see this line. Still see the hash marks. Stuff like that. Ground merging, you turn that off, you won't be able to see through anymore. Ground merging is let's merge with the thing underneath. Opacity is a little bit different. So once you do turn the opacity up, the ground merging thing isn't going to really do much anymore. So now we're basically just seeing all the way through. Ground merging gives a little bit of the characteristic of the ground below the thing, which I like. I think that's a really cool option. But anyway, my general default right now opacity level is 215. So I actually do want to see through, get some of the characteristics of the underlying scenery to make sure that just doesn't look like this sort of pristine, sterile surface. Because that just looks boring, right? And that doesn't look interesting at all. Who wants a taxi on that? So we add in a little opacity. Which just makes it slightly transparent. You can see through it. So you can also, this is very useful. You go up here, you just do the draw surface, you uncheck that, and next thing you know, you can see the vertices, you can see the lines at the outline of it, you can move it around and adjust it still, you just can't see the texture. It turns the texture off. You can turn it back on and off. See, if I do draw, but I go over here, you can, just like in Photoshop, you can say, oh, I don't want to see this, but then you don't even see the edges. So I like to undo the draw surface so I can still work with the vertices and see the underlying stuff. Placing lights is going to be a pain. So anyway, you can tell based on, so let's not even use this as our, it's so grainy with the extra junk that Flight Sim adds on there. Let's go and look at the actual sort of reference material here. Now, you can see that this is a road. How do I turn that off?
408 Delta Alpha Greensboro approach. Roger, descend to maintain 4,000. Expect the ILS approach runway 23 right.
Okay, we're going to descend to maintain 4,000. So we'd like to
you can tell that there's no grain to this cement, really, right? Which makes sense because it's not. Like these taxiways here, you can see there's this sort of square patterns of which they make these things here that you can really see them. That's how you make cement or poured concrete ramps and taxiways. It's there, one little square at a time. They're reinforced and everything, and they can hold much heavier aircraft. And they're designed to have aircraft sitting on them for long periods of time.
the contact tower, 119.1.
getting a lot of use, and they last a long, long time. Anyway, so versus asphalt, which is just poured in one direction, you can see the lanes of
408 Delta Alpha.
which they
Just
do it.
confirm you have
So
information hotel for
the
Greensboro.
the bridge over
Hey,
there
Route
is
Hotel
poured
on
concrete,
Greensboro.
but it's not
Roger.
it's not textured like that, where it's a bunch of squares necessarily. It's just kind of all one big slab. It's a little dirty too, so that's good to know. But this is the color that we're kind of going for. Let me do this. So we draw that back on, and then it's just a gray color. Got the squares. We don't really want that, so we go to the material editor. I don't know what these are going to look like. So let's turn the ground merging and
408 Delta Alpha.
everything
Turn
off.
left,
So we're just
direct
looking
to
directly at this.
Okay, well, what was the fix again for
Digidriver,
Alpha?
man, good to see you, buddy.
It's
Welcome,
22 is
welcome, welcome.
Tango uniform. Papa
Hopefully you learned
uniform
something here.
Echo.
Okay,
EUG, was it
direct to, 40 Delta Alpha.
EUG Ghost, or EU Ghost, by the way. If you don't mind, become a follower. Go ahead and join us, and so that you can pop in the next time you see us on. And also try to, if Digidriver, you can do the same. Click on the YouTube link that's in my About Me. And awesome, Digidriver, that's really good to see you, man. So I'm happy to be here doing this and showing off some things. What was I saying? So yeah, join the YouTube channel too, because I'll call you Ghost. All right, got it, Ghost. And I don't know. Some people like to be called exactly what their names are, but so Ghost, you can do this too. Try to in the About Me thing. There should be a little bit of a little YouTube thing there. So go to my YouTube channel if you can subscribe there as well. Follow, subscribe. Thank you, Ghost, for following. I see you did that now. And if you could hit that YouTube video too, because like I said, I'm going to be going over to YouTube, so I want everybody to kind of be down with the YouTube stuff. And I see that one of you guys at least has just gone and done that as well. So you guys are awesome. Anyway, so I want to try to figure out how I can find a surface that makes this look the most like that I can. So remember this, it adds this dirt layer and rock layer kind of thing. So as we saw on the Google texture, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look so beat up. It looks much nicer than that, in fact. So there's improvements to be done here. It just adds this crud layer to everything. So I don't know why it does that, but that's just what they do. So I've got to try to figure out what color it is. It's that colorish. You can see there's a difference in the coloration on the Bing versus Google anyway. Google, it's all seasonal. Season is different. It's very green here, which is what this airport looks like most of the time, versus like this is like a summertime photos where everything looks dead. But anyway, the color that they use, this is all supposed to be color normalized too, I think, in Bing. They do much better job of colors adjusting. Semi-transparent dirt layer, which would have a strong normal roughness map. Yeah. You're absolutely right, but I think that's exactly what it is. Thank you, Ghost, for subscribing to the YouTube channel, my man. I appreciate it so much, and I think Digidriver did as well. So you guys are the best. Anyway, so how do I make this apron? By the way, Digidrivers, you just got here, so for the less initiated, I'm making taxiways at my airport because you're interested in this as well, with aprons, using apron objects for all of it, because the actual taxiway path objects where you can change the width and everything, they look like garbage. So using aprons, everything is, all the concrete's going to be an apron. I already did this big one right here. You can see just how like detailed it can get. It looks really nice, like nice and curved and everything. There's no problems doing that stuff. It doesn't really do the spline Bezier curve thing like X-Plane did all that well, so you just kind of put a bunch of vertices in there and try to smooth it out as best I could, which is really all X-Plane did anyway. And I think it looks really nice, especially looks nice from down low. I also see these yellow lines that you see here, assuming you can't actually see it. Sorry, the up and down is reverse of it on the top down cam than it is in just the regular drone cam. developer mode cam. These little yellow
Spot is 408
lines here are the
contact
taxiway
Alabama,
lines.
Nevada,
I can
1 good day.
go back and talk about those a little bit. The taxiway lighting, I should say. I can go explain more of that later. I went into great depth already. But I've custom placed all the taxiway lines, so every one of these little vertices is where a light is located. And so they match the actual real world locations of all the lights. But we're starting with this, we got this one little taxiway bridge cement part that I'm working on right now. So this is very basic. So I want to try to find something that matches the underlying, which looks like right now. It is a long journey, man. I'm just starting it too, to be honest. This is basic stuff, and I've done this in other sims already, so I know kind of what to expect, and this feels somewhat comfortable. Just figuring out how to best do it in this sim is kind of screwy. The SDK isn't the greatest. It's getting better.
Advisory 201 valid until 1900 from 5 north northeast of Pulaski to 35 southeast of Pulaski to 35 south southeast of Folsom Mountain to 20 south southwest.
All right, man. Well, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Yeah, I've got a little community of guys that I've kind of been growing with in terms of the actual flying stuff. You don't have to be a huge star. I mean, there's the flight sim community is not that big, and compared to like first-person shooters and stuff like that, role-playing RPGs and everything that you get in on Twitch and everything. Plus, I don't like Twitch, so I'm going to YouTube. But anyway, as I was saying, it's a niche community, but it is a very dedicated and knowledgeable community, so people really appreciate and come back a lot. I find in flight sim stuff, and people hang around, look specifically for flight sim-related content, and the pool of people that watch flight sim videos is much bigger on YouTube than it is in Twitch. The people that watch all these other guys' channels, you look at like Chewy. He streams here on Twitch. He gets like what, you know, however many, a couple, 200 to 300 to 400 viewers usually on a normal stream. London Controller, the same thing. Those guys are kind of the biggest stars of the flight sim world right now, and they only get a couple hundred people watching their stuff. But on YouTube, you get guys like Cat Strader used to do it on Twitch, doesn't anymore, but you see how many people watch videos of flight sim. Millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views, a lot of these things. Yeah, like Jeff Faviano has, like, anytime he does flight sim, massive amount of people doing it. The Dr. Disrespect did some flight simming. I don't remember if that was on Twitch or if that was on YouTube. But when he did it, tons of people were watching it. So there's people that want to see this stuff. And the best way to get to them is not through streaming, but through doing YouTube videos. So, alas. Anyway, small airports and also do 1 or 2 regional airports. That's awesome. That's totally cool. This project is way bigger than one I should really be taking on, by the way, in terms of scenery. I should not have done an airport so stinking big, but it's the airport I know, right? So I think I have unique knowledge of it, given the fact that I work at it every day. Anyway, I haven't done a thing here. I just been talking. What's the problem with this stuff? I get caught up in chat, which you're supposed to do.
Traffic 12 o'clock, 2 miles. Altitude indicates 2,700 VFR.
Awesome. Yeah, Jeff seems like a super enthusiastic about all things simulator, not even just flight simulator. He looks to simulate all sorts of stuff. I actually got into him watching his Grand Theft Auto streams of his, like, when he's like role playing, you know, his role plays of being a police officer and stuff like that. Really, really cool stuff. I think the guy's a good dude too. You can tell just his personality on his videos and everything really shines through. The guy seems like a real good dude. Anyway, so let's go to the. We got this apron. We got things over here. We got the surface drawn. This is where this is where the rubber hits the road right here. We want to find the surface that we're actually going to use, the texture for the surface. And right now there's none selected. That's why you get this sort of. This is what it actually looks like. Then it superimposes a texture on top of it. So we want to go to. This is all wrong. What is all this? Taxiway. There we go. Taxiway cement.
And then you can turn left on course to stay in the county.
Okay. Why isn't it showing it? There it is. Does that look like cement to you? No, it doesn't look like cement. That might be what we end up going with, though. Because I think we use taxiway tarmac for the... Yeah, we use tarmac for the taxiways. Macadam is like asphalt. That shouldn't be it. That's not bad. Planks. Let's see what planks look like. Yeah, you can actually see the grain there. That's kind of cool because it's like, it would be a grooved runway or taxiway type of thing. It's kind of interesting. Why does it put that dirt layer on it, though? Get that out of here. Sand. You guys are sand taxiway guys. Cement. We did brick. Oh, that's pretty. Doesn't look good up close. Look at that. I don't know what. I don't even know how to say this word. That's very standard. Asphalt. Asphalt has a grain to it. It's just too bad that they don't have that in the colored marking. What's that gonna... Oh, hey-oh. Okay. Oh, so all these things are available. How do I put a custom marking down? That's what I want to do. Base materials for custom markings. Ah, see, this is where you see all the drawn lines. Yeah. His Jeff Aviano's GTA 5 stuff is amazing. It makes me actually think about playing GTA 5 again, which if you I mean, you'd ask me right now, I'd be like, no way. I'm not downloading that thing and getting back involved in that because that thing is annoying. But anywho, steel. Let's see what steel looks like. Oh, look at that. Wow, that's like those when you're driving on the highway and you get like some of these like overpasses and stuff, and it's really like sort of like makes this really loud noise when you drive over it. Yeah, that's that kind of stuff right there. Stay away from that. What is this? Shale? Sort of rocky. What this is here? Sand again. Okay. So
1392 Juliet, do you have 5 green front side?
Let's try concrete, shall we?
92 Juliet.
No, we're not doing concrete. Cement.
You can join right base, or left base for 238 at your discretion and contact tower 191.
I can't tell, guys. Let's go back to this here. Cement is very finely grained, I find. So let's.
92 Juliet, you can contact the tower 119.1. 119.1.
Is that the bitumen? Is that what it was? That was kind of the finer grain. Yeah, I think that was sort of the finer grain. Okay, let's try that. So you're probably looking at this right now, being like, "Wait a minute, that's not even close. Don't do that, please." All right, man. DigiDriver, you know what? You've earned a follow. You're followed. I've never watched your stuff before, but I'm gonna follow, so I make sure I know when you're streaming and I can see it. Do you have a YouTube as well, DigiDriver, or are you doing everything on Twitch still? Alright, so we did the material. We got what we want, I guess.
545 Charlie Bravo, Greensboro.
So the runway textures are a little bit different.
014.
See, it's a tighter cement. You can do clay. Well, what is going on with that?
Romeo Echo IFAR cancellation received. And did you want to go
cool.
just on your
Have a good one, DigiDriver. Take care.
Was it 5 November Charlie 2? 5 November Charlie 5.
Macadam. Does that look? Oh, see, that's better. Talked about macadam and kind of having a asphalt having a grain to it. That has more of a grain. This one, the asphalt one, doesn't really have much grain. It has maybe a little bit to it. Bituminous. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. There's way too much change in the color on that, though. I feel like it's zoomed in too much or something. Runway markings.
November 5, 9er Tango Papa,
oil treated.
Center, 125.15.
Oh.
125.15,
steel mats. Ugh. Runway tarmac. Oh, I kind of like that. Tira gum. I don't know what that is. That just looks dirty. I guess that's all it is. It's a tire gum. Okay, that's how you put the tire marks on it. My gosh, I'm stupid.
November forward 82 November.
So
How close did that Cherokee
that's supposed to be water. Does that look like water to anybody? Okay, so let's go back to taxiways.
November, about a mile.
What did I say we're gonna do? Cement?
Roger.
Yeah. So that's the wrong color, Snare. What are you doing? Okay. Watch and learn. Is there a way I can change the heading on this? Alright, it does not appear as though it matters which way the thing is rotated. Okay, so here's where we're going to have some fun. Enable coloration. I'm going to turn this off. We're going to try to find a color that looks like that. So I'm going to give it a little bit of pink almost, right? Isn't it kind of pink? Something kind of like that. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Whoa, that's too bright. Okay. Now if I give it my opacity of 215, what does it look like? Does that calm it down? It does not. Okay, so too bright. We're going to say that's too bright, right? That's too bright. Okay, so back to coloration. And now I'm going to tone it down a little bit. Alright, you can tell a little too much that it's got that red in it. Alright, get rid of the opacity because that's messing with it. Alright, so maybe it's more of an orange. I don't think so. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, let's work with that. Is it something like that? How about that? Let's go with that. Let's say that that is the color we want to do it. So now it still has the texture that we got from the cement, right? It's still cement, but it's colored differently. It's not that gray color anymore. Now let's add the opacity.
Approach Limburg 3375, we're 16.5, descending 10,000 with hotel.
Limburg 3375, Greensboro approach, altimeter 3014. Expect the ILS approach, runway 23 right.
Okay, ILS approach 23 right, Limburg 3375.
Okay, I can go with that for now. little more red in real life. So maybe we go to red and we go to 175. How about 185? A little more red. And not making that big of a difference here, guys. 200. What has just happened? Oh, it's back to cement. Great. Okay, so let's go. Let's concrete, I guess. Cement. Enable coloration. Where was I? I was somewhere up in here, right? No, that's not close. And I had it. Gadget. Oh man, I'm gonna be at this forever. I'm having a great time though. So there's a little secret thing here called a color extractor, which I'm supposed to just be able to go. Bloop. And it's supposed to basically steal the colors underneath it. And it did. I like that. Sweet. There we get those numbers.
Good afternoon, Greensboro, Dakota 150 with JTN 3500 information SoCal.
That worked really well. Oh, it's the same color as this.
The VFR straight in runway 23 right.
Alright, the VFR straight in runway 23 right.
That's okay, it works.
Clear wing 483 is 2300, climb for 3000, run ahead.
Clear wing 43, Greensboro departure, radar contact.
Turning it on and off, I can barely tell the dang difference.
12,000.
Something maybe a little more red.
Who was the Navajo calling unanswered?
Sorry, Navajo 42 Mike, can we get 15 right or left for weather?
Navajo 42 Mike, deviations left and right, of course approved, direct RMAC when able and advised.
Alright, I'm a terrible... I was completely dead wrong about that more red thing. Let's try 140. A little bit more red. Alright, I like that. Alright, we'll say that's good.
Alright, we got hotel, we'll expect you there, landmark 44.
So we added the opacity in, right? Nope, well, we didn't do the opacity yet. Let's do the opacity, 215, so I can see through it a little bit. And that really starts to take on a very similar property without that junk layer.
Clear wing 43, turn left, direct Genie.
Alright, left turn.
Gadget, man, it's always good to see you. Yeah, we're having a great time here. Good times.
94 November, turn right on course.
Inspector, there's probably a seam. There's a seam. Ugh. This is the part that I don't... Is there a way to snap aprons together?
Greensboro departure, November 70, November Charlie's 1.7, climbing 3000, direct taxi.
November 70, November Charlie, Greensboro departure, radar contact.
Just a little googly on it here. Snap, 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 snap.
70 November Charlie, what's your requested altitude?
3000.
November 70 November Charlie, roger. Number 4467, descend and maintain 4000.
4000, number 4467.
Working on my airport. Oh, this is from 2018. This is for X-Plane. Yeah, okay, so in the actual... What is this? SDK discussion. That's not the document I was looking for. SDK documentation. There should be something, but I don't think you can snap stuff. I don't think you can, so I'm gonna have to get down and dirty with the editor here. Locking this one so I can't edit it anymore.
No problem, 7483.
Oh, there is a gap there.
Number 4467, turn the left, heading at 215, join the localizer, runway 23 right.
I have to join the localizer 23 right. Limerick 4567.
Okay, so this surface also go -1 in priority. So I want this one to overlap that one. Let's see how that looks now. Oh, much nicer.
Approach Mooney 201 X-ray, X-ray 7000.
Downright natural.
Mooney 201 X-ray, X-ray, Greensboro approach.
All right, so that is how you put it in an apron. And you can see it adding vertices and stuff. If I wanted to add vertices to this, I could click on one here and then go like right-click, add a point, and then there's another point. Now I can do all, click and stretch and drag and blah 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 blah.
1200 1 X-ray.
So that's how you get it to do all these things. So I just started with a big old rectangle that stretched pretty much all. Actually, it was a few more points than a rectangle. It's a very basic, crude outline of these things, and then sort of adding points in and stretching, bringing it down, pulling it down to the edges of the actual edges of the taxiway. And I'm very, very happy with the results. Overlap.
November
Okay.
70 November Charlie. I understand you want a RNAV approach at Davidson County and then on to Statesville?
Yeah, Davidson County, GPS runway 24.
And I haven't seen so far, but I don't think having a ton of vertices like this really hurts the performance of it that much. Because when it does its own little splaying curves, it actually adds vertices in that you can't see. So it's doing it, Sim's doing it anyway. So might as well do it where you want it to be.
Do you want me to contact you on the go?
Yeah, you can remain that frequency for now, and I'll should be over to advisor in a few miles.
Okay.
Number 3375, contact tower.
Welcome back, Isaac. So I was wondering, Gadget, does Gadget know if there is a really good texture, like a texture mod for like taxiway lines and stuff on Flights MTO? I'm sure there's probably dozens of them. So I'm looking for a good one because obviously the default, actually we just saw it not too long ago, but the default lines and stuff are all this color yellow, and there's no outline, there's no black border, which has been a much lamented thing on the forums, I know. But like these lines, if we could change the color and they don't have borders, but center lines always have borders. All the new stuff, anytime they repaint stuff, it has borders on it. So, at least in the U.S. So I want to find stuff with borders. I need to specifically hold short lines with black borders. It's for the contrast stuff, but so I haven't done any lines because I don't want to get in there until I have the borders on the right textures. So if anybody knows of a good texture mod pack for that, that would be awesome.
Radar contact, climb and maintain 12000.
12000 for envoy 4059.
That's the only thing holding me back from starting to put some paint down.
You can contact tower.
Yeah, that makes sense.
248. All right.
Saratoga 902, correction 429 for November, climb and maintain 900,000.
By Airport Environment HD or whatever it is called on my so I can use it for my own use, I think, but I probably can't use it. I can't put it. I don't think I can reuse their textures for something that I'm going to export. Like I can't share it with other people, I don't think. So it would be usable, but if I would have to make it like a requirement, like if you're going to use if you want to use this, you have to have this downloaded or installed. And I don't. That's not really a good way to do scenery packages. So if like this is something that I want to share with people, I'm going to need to include all the textures inside of this project, or they have to be default. Something that I know everybody has, and I'm perfectly willing to put custom textures in it and then ship them with it. I just have to have something that it's okay for me to use and distribute.
November 4182, November.
I can get it for the good stuff for myself, I guess. I think in X-Plane when I did this, I used what was who was the guy that that did all the really nice free like high res mods of airports, like Magic Mr. something. I forget what that guy's name was. And then he started doing payware eventually too. But that dude's stuff was awesome, and he had really nice textures. And I used a lot of them. Mr. X or Magic Mr. X, something like that. But yeah, Mr. X. I think that's what it was. Mr. X6. Oh, he got one up, Isaac. Thank you, Ghost. Yeah, that guy had really nice textures that I used in a lot of my stuff, but I never distributed it, so nobody cared. But yeah, so if anybody actually wanted this airport, then I'd have to be like, well, I put textures in that I really shouldn't be using. I paid for them, and then I hadn't paid for them, and so that's an issue. Oh gosh, why isn't there snapping? So, okay, so I'll show you this. Here's something you can do. And I probably should have done this in the first place, but... So, I'm having the problem of these little nodes, right? Like you saw me kind of adjusting them. These nodes, vertices, whatever you want to call them, they overlap, right? They don't, there's no way to get them to snap to each other. I just can't do it. But notice the way the texture moves. It has sort of a snappiness and incrementalness of its own. So you can kind of just get it up against something until it locks in to be where you want it to, and then you can kind of, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. I still think the seam looks actually pretty natural. It has a darkness to the edge of it, which kind of makes it look like there's maybe a little indentation there or something. So this is what I want to show you. This will be pretty cool. Let's see if I can find a good blank spot to do this in here. Let's do it like right here. So you can do this. Let's do a new apron.
November 152 Sierra Whiskey, join a right base runway 23 right. And contact tower.
I'm just going to do this under the general airport thing, so I'm going to delete it. Alright, so default apron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's an apron, right? What I can do with this is I can say, I'm going to select this one, and then right click on it, and split the polygon. So now there's two polygons, and they both have vertices that are in exactly the same place. So you can do that. Yeah, KSFO was the one that got me into it. Actually, I am from the San Francisco Bay Area, so I used to fly in and out of that airport all the time. That's where I started my VATSIM controlling career. I was at Oakland Center and everything, so I know that airport really well. But that was the one that blew me away. So that got me into his stuff, and I was a believer. So anyway, so now we have two different polygons here, but they're both co-located. So, and they have two totally different sets of parameters. So I can do it that way, I guess. Let's try that actually.
November 91 Alpha Mike, Greensboro departure. You are radar contact via for altitude.
Okay, so here's a cool little thing you can do also. You can, when you click on something like this, you can right click and then copy properties.
4042 Mike, contact Raleigh approach 124.905.
So I'm just going to take this and lock it and hide it. So we can't even tell it's there right now. And then I'm going to select this one, which I've also locked. I'm going to go in here, select this node, come over here, add a point, come over here, add a point. Ugh, didn't work. Come over here, add a point, stretch it out, come over here and add a point. Stretch that out. No. You guys figured out what I'm going to do yet?
27.8, thank you.
Here's a hint. I just did it. With that other polygon I made just a second ago. Alright, so now I can select these two, right click, split the polygon, and there's a there it is. And these are exactly lined up. Okay, so now I can click on this and go paste properties, and bing, it's the same color. That's the last one. How awesome is that? So let's take that one away,
turn right heading
lock it,
120 on the final.
put that one up there.
Right turn 120, exit 518 join.
Subtle differences. Very subtle differences. Let's get rid of it. So let's... Wow. So how cool was that? Now let's see what it looks like in Inspector. It looks almost the same. Okay, so I'm going to do that from now on. I like that. So it's a continuation, and those vertices are in the exact same spot. So there should be no alignment issues. I didn't fake it or anything like that. I like that. Let's go with that. Okay, so that means this one here, I'm going to just go delete.
3,600.
And now I have this one.
Now it's your 12 o'clock, 10 miles.
I think I blocked you on the first part. We got the field inside for exit 518.
So I'm going taxiways. Let's put this there. Apron. So click on this little thing right here. It says create a new group and add selected items to it. So I'm clicking a new group. I go over here, right click, rename. This will be taxiway Echo. Okay, so we got taxiway Echo in the group. There's that apron that we just made. That was an advanced power move right there, guys. You got to admit, that was some mind-blowing stuff. That's how you get everything to line up exactly. I'm going to use that in the future. Okay. I seem like one of these hyped up, like spam wow guys. Here we go, guys. Yeah. The sham wow. The shake weight. Okay, that looked horrible. This is a family show. La 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 da 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 da. So do we like that color? Is that color good enough for now? I think so. So hooray for using the color extractor. It didn't work so well in these taxiways, I discovered. I didn't really like the way it worked. I tried it already.
2000 for 78 beautiful.
Alright, so there's that. Wow, it's beautiful. So if I wanted to continue doing that, I would just do a couple more vertices, drag them out, so cut the thing there, and then off we go. I think that is the way. That is the way from now on, everybody. Until further notice, that is the way. Now, I did something here with a -1. So you can do layer priorities. This one is 0. Or this one's a -1, actually. That's right. Because I did it this way, because I did this apron. Oh, man, now that I think of it, I could have just done all of this the same solid piece of concrete. Oh, my gosh. Oh, okay. It's not too late. I can still do that. This is all the same texture, I just realized. And the same color and everything. So I could have just made it 1. Oh. Alright. I might do that in the future. I might add that in. Anyway, what was I doing? See how easily you guys get me off track? This is ridiculous. I need to focus here. Anybody can tell me what that is from, you win a prize. It ain't much of a prize. Okay, so what was... I don't even know what I was gonna do. Alright, let's go into the this biggity bobbity here.
November 91 Alpha.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to know was, are there any taxiway lights on the taxiway bridge that goes over Ted Johnson Parkway here? And the answer to that apparently is no. I don't see anything that looks like an actual light, which is kind of what you would expect, I guess. So they start again over here, so I don't have to worry about putting any lights on. It'll just be when it comes time to... Oh, look at... They've repainted this. They put a black border on that side, but not on the other sides. Interesting.
786 request.
They like painted over the hash
uniform,
marks, which
go
is
ahead.
kind of strange. I
I
find
think I'm gonna
odd.
level at 10,000 and keep on going 10,000, 780 uniform.
There's a uniform, roger, mid out to maintain 10,000.
So I don't need to do anything else except paint on this. So that's done. That's a print. Okay, let's do a little savey poo. We haven't done one of those in a while. Paint, save, whatever. Taxiway signs and painted line are still there. Good. This apron for taxiway echo is there. You can tell I really like to just look. just like look at my work. Look at my masterpiece.
Archer, good afternoon, Northern Jet 455, 2.5, climbing 5,000, 270 ready.
Kind of guess I gotta bite the bullet and start just making this taxiway, huh?
Maintain 12,000, clear direct Wayne.
12,000, clear direct Wayne.
Laying the apron. Okay, so we're gonna use that same technique here by going selecting that. I'm gonna add another point, drag it over there, add another point, drag it over there. Rough cutting here, basically, and then I'm going to go like this, and then this. Right click, split the polygon. I think I want to kind of go back to what that looked like, and I know what the colors were for that already. That was 115, 117, 128. As I click on this one, there it is, 115, 117, 127. Oh, Chris, seriously, you gotta be better than that. You can't be off by one of these this game. All right. So there we go. So we're on a whole nother piece of apron now. So I'm going to go back to these individual nodes, and now I'm just going to stretch it way down there.
455, contact Atlanta Center 128.8.
Way down there.
8.8 to you, 455.
There we go. Done. Let's move on to the next one. No. So now we got this super long rectangular taxiway that doesn't really meet our needs whatsoever. So let's lock this one. I'm going to rename this one just so we know where it is. This is Echo Bridge. Locking. There we go. So we can, again, work with the nodes and not have any trouble. Hide. Okay, I just want to be 100% focused in here. Okay, so I'm going to select this node. I'm going to come down here, right click, add a point. And right here, add a point. Okay, for this part, this is all just distraction. All the texture is distraction, so I'm going to unclick the draw surface so I can see right through the texture. It doesn't have to be perfect yet. This is not like time for perfection, but I kind of just sort of throw it in the right spot. And then add a point, pull it down there, add a point, adding definition. Pull it down there. Add a point. Pull it down there. Somewhere in that area. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm actually going to do it all the way to there. Do the rounds, what I call the rounds. Oh man, I get such deja vu doing this because I've done this airport before on other sims, and it's like, man, I've been doing these same exact parts of the airport with completely different techniques, but I've had to do all of this before. I wish there was some easier way to just transfer all that work, but I deleted that stuff long ago. Yoink.
70 November Charlie Radar contact 2 miles north of 2 miles north of Davidson County Airport. Greensboro altimeter is 3013. Maintain VFR.
So there's a definite order to these things. If you, it goes clockwise. So if you want to add another point, you go clockwise from this node clockwise to the next one, it'll give you automatically, it'll go right into this mode where it gives you the ability to move. Move your node, but if you do it the other way, like if I go counterclockwise down the line to here, it's just going to add the point, but I'm still on the same node. So that's not super desirable, I don't think. So if I go to this one and now I go clockwise around, now I can just already just pull this right on down to the other side. Alright, then I can go, I don't know if I'm actually selected properly. Oh, I guess I am. To here. There we go. Okay, so now I can come back to this one. Say, I want to add a point there. Back to that point. Okay, so that's very rough. That's not as rough as it was before, but this is a rougher version of the same thing, basically. So let's draw the surface back on. Go into inspector mode. And doesn't look half bad, does it? You can almost be like, forget it, I'm done. This part of this taxiway I remember being particularly easy to make because of how straight it is. Very straight angles. I'm not sure how much I like the color.
5313, climb maintain 14,000, contact Washington Center 135.
So how can I do this without going into inspector mode? Draw the surface. Now, so there's one more thing. There's this little one in the middle. This gets rid of the addition lines. Hides the addition lines, I should say. So I can hide them. So all you see is the texture. And then I can go. I can either do this. I can do it like this. So that's a pretty big difference in color, right? Alright, so let's put the addition lines back on. It's not locked. Let's try our friend the color extractor.
Okay, 78 Echo Uniform. Before you do that, you have to get approval from me because I gave you 5 right and 8,000. So now you're clear direct Pekin, climb and maintain 10,000. Direct Pekin, 10,000. Foothills 92, descend maintain 4,000, turn left heading 030 vectors for the visual.
The 4,000, left turn 030, Foothills 92.
Our 70 November Charlie, contact Charlotte approach 128.32 seal.
Let's stick with that. Stick with the same color we had before. Okay, so now let's go in and really get to the fine points here. Get rid of the surface. Not moving that. Clockwise, I have to go. Start up here.
78 Echo Uniform deviations left of course are approved. When able, direct Pekin and advise.
Roger that. Yeah, to the left, 78 Uniform advise.
Archer 4182 November, Greensboro approach, stay intentions.
3,060, about 8 miles.
Somewhere in here it starts getting a little wider.
Stanley County, headed for Burlington, request flight following.
So it's sort of a high point, like right around here somewhere. See, this is like, I try to get the contour like just right. I'm not trying to cheat at all.
Maintain VFR area of moderate precipitation
Actually, I
at
don't
your
know if I
11
needed that
o'clock
last one.
to 9 o'clock in 2 miles, 5 miles diameter moving northeastbound.
Arch November 4182 November, roger on the weather, we have it in sight.
Thank you.
I think I still needed that point.
RV 851
Brings
Foxtrot Hotel,
down.
Greensboro, Greensboro, Altimeter 3013. Foothills 92, turn right heading of 090.
090 for those 92.
Foothills 92, Winston-Salem Airport is at your 2 to 3 o'clock and 12 miles.
We got the field side for those 92.
Foothills 92, clear
So
visual
this
for
is,
runway 15
I don't know if you can see this, but as I'm in
123.75
top-down mode,
view.
but you can see there's a bow there. As I get further away, this gap gets bigger because there's altitude, there's big-time altitude difference here.
Cherokee 57 at 0 Golf, contact Charlotte approach 128.32, see ya.
128.32, thanks for the help. 50 call.
Oh, it's just getting chunky. Chunky. Alright, so now we're out of the top-down view. We're in the developer cam now.
Number 78 Echo,
Which is basically just the drone cam.
approach 127.8, have a good one.
27.8, 78 to be, thank you.
Watch this. Whee! See if I can fix it a little bit by zooming out, coming back in. That's still a roller coaster down there. Ugh. Alright, well that needs to be addressed. Okay, so cannot go long stretches without nodes.
Greensboro, departure, citation 24.
Citation 247 Romeo Uniform Greensboro, departure squawk 6033.
6033, 247 Romeo Uniform.
Greensboro approach, Blue Street 5239 to 11000 with India.
Blue Street 5239 Greensboro approach, Greensboro altimeter 3013, expect runway 23 right.
Right, 23 right, Blue Street 5239.
Number 247 Romeo Uniform, radar contact.
Basically what you want to do is you want to get these things so they're lined up right on top of the photo imagery, because really you're just going to lay these, I mean, if the photo imagery is stretched, then the apron will be stretched. I mean, they're going to be kind of married together in a way, because they really just drape down on top of whatever the mesh is underneath.
Clear direct, Genie.
And then direct Richmond, 12,000.
So adding these vertices should make it so that it's a little less
for 247 Romeo uniform.
adventurous.
Citation 247 Romeo uniform, read back correct, Greensboro altimeter is 3013.
3013, 7 Romeo uniform.
Citation 7 Romeo uniform, contact Washington Center 124.05. Have a good one.
2405, have a good day. 247 Romeo uniform.
So yeah, more definition helps with the contour. Definitely seems like, because these will all snap to the ground as it goes up the hill. All right. Just gets chunkier and chunkier the longer it goes. Oh, I didn't do down on this end. See the difference here. And now the vertices snap down to the ground level and follow the contour, whereas if it just don't have vertices, it just does a straight line across. And then right on top of it, it might not be an issue. You can see that it's not that big of an issue, but if you want to try to keep it with the actual contour of the ground like that, then you gotta keep it right on there. You can already tell when I put the surface back on, it comes just a little bit to the right. Oop, oop. That's contouring again. It's just too long of a span to not have a node in there with the altitude change. So this is a big, big, big downhill. It's not as bumpy as that, but it is a downhill. Orca Airways, man, I haven't seen you on one of my streams at all. I haven't been doing a lot of streaming, so that's kind of my fault. But Orca, man, it's great to see you, buddy. Or one of our resident Airbus flyers. Someone should tell me when one of my little gremlins is stealing my stuff here. One of them definitely pulled that pen out. Yes, by gremlins, I mean children. Oh, it's okay to be busy. It's really okay to be. I've been kind of busy myself. But doing real good. Doing real good. Thanks for asking. Just having some fun doing some sceneries. I really enjoy this. I don't know if that makes me kind of a sick, disgusting person or something like that, but I enjoy what I'm doing here. This is fun for me. It's relaxing. It's a whole lot of good things, I think.
Good afternoon, Greensboro approach, Lance 2517 Quebec, we're level 9000.
Lance 2517 Quebec, Greensboro approach, Greensboro altimeter 3013, and there
And it actually kind of feels productive.
Moderate to heavy precipitation.
Strangely enough, I mean, this isn't anything that's going to benefit really me in any sort of way, but it's I feel like me sharing this process also maybe helps other people kind of decide they want to do this too. Maybe not a lot of people, but I know there's not a lot of people chomping at the bits to just kind of start their own scenery from scratch. It's not super like taxing work or anything. I think it's kind of tracing an object is really not that hard.
And approach, good afternoon, experimental sportsman
So
678
for
Delta Sierra.
a piece of part of the scenery with as much contour and altitude elevation changes as this, the more nodes the better. Helps really keep the texture lining up with the topography properly.
Experimental 678 Delta Sierra, Greensboro approach, Greensboro altimeter 3013.
3013, and do you own the airspace down there at Hickory, or is that going to be Charlotte?
It's Atlanta Center.
I'll be talking to Atlanta Center here momentarily in about 30 to 40 miles.
Okay, thanks for your help.
Buddy, what you doing? Been having some fun? They're talking about Atlanta. You can't hear it, but yeah, they've been talking about Atlanta on the radio. Daddy's listening to the radio right now in his headphones. I'm so lame that I listen to my coworkers when I'm not at work. Daddy is what we used to call a loser. See, there it is. You guys gotta warn me when this is happening. He's stealing my iPad. I don't need that. In fact, if there's an iPad you want, go steal your mother's. Oh, you want that one? Okay. How convenient. Hey, hey, hey. Wanna look at some pictures? There you go. Knock yourself out.
Blue straight pitch 239, turn right heading 055, vector downwind.
Heading 055, Blue straight pitch 239.
They like to scroll through and look at pictures of themselves. The vanity. 777 class. Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down. Slow down here. Slow down. I didn't realize you were looking to change hardware. That's amazing news. 777. My goodness gracious. Well, that's definitely an upgrade. And welcome and back to the Boeing team, playing for the good guys.
Warrior 4347 kilo, Greensboro.
That's exciting news. I'm jealous. Slightly jealous. Not really, but. That is awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. Hopefully you did this on purpose. Like I assume that you knew what you were doing. You're getting yourself into. These hardware changes are no small feat.
Between you and Air Harbor. Once you leave the Charlie, squawk VFR, frequency change approved. See you.
Charlie, squawk and VFR 2 advisory. See you. 1 Fox Hotel.
Blue Streak 5239, DC maintain 3000.
3000, Blue Streak 5239.
Company requirement. Oh, so you wait. So explain. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like what is the requirement? Is it a requirement that like they're getting rid of Airbuses and so you have to move to something, or is it like if you're there a certain amount of time you have to upgrade to something else? What's the explain?
Warrior 4347 kilo, Greensboro approach, Greensboro altimeter 3013. Number 17 Quebec, you got a second for a quick favor?
Isn't it amazing when it's 3 months, 3 months to train on a new aircraft?
Just let them know that I can hear him.
The fact that I mean I know airlines don't like to do it, and they wouldn't if they weren't forced to by the government, but or whatever governments are involved in these things. But can you imagine airlines having perfectly good certified pilots
I'm gonna restart.
unavailable to fly for
can hear
3 months.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you give me an update on some of the settings? Oh, and is there a specific altitude that they want me to be at, I guess?
You got it. And he'd like an update on what altitude you'd like him at.
Keep holding down Alt. I think Alt was the X-plane button that you had to press to add nodes.
Greensboro altimeter is 3013.
It's like I haven't done that in a long time, like over a year. A couple of years since the last time I worked on a X-plane scenery.
I got you.
17 Quebec, thank you for the help, sir.
I tried.
Thanks, sir.
Alright, 82 November, no zero traffic between you and Burlington Airport. Radar service terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved. See you.
Archer 4118 November, frequency change approved. Thank you, sir.
So I still have A320s, but when I reach the top of the seniority list in the A320, then I'm due for an upgrade. Yeah, but not everybody chooses to upgrade though, right? Because when you upgrade, you get to hold I assume you get to hold your seniority on the new hardware, right? But that doesn't, if you were at the top of seniority in one, that doesn't mean you're going to be at the top of seniority in the next one. So they can't just force people to do that, can they?
Lance 17 Quebec with request.
Lance 17 Quebec, go ahead, sir.
I'd like to plug a waypoint at Richmond, Richmond VOR in prior to 2 Whiskey 6, just to give you a little more clearance in this weather.
Alright, Lance 17 Quebec, clear direct to Richmond VOR, then direct destination, maintain 9,000.
Clear Richmond VOR, direct destination.
Richmond VOR, RIC. Because I know everybody was wondering. Uh-oh. Alright, it's starting to get weird on me. Sometimes it doesn't like to put points where I ask it to. Makes me very upset.
Blue straight 5239, turn left heading of 300.
Left 300, blue straight 5239.
Give me my little box back, you silly guy.
Greensboro approach, 514 Sierra Lima with you, 11,000.
Cirrus 514 Sierra Lima, Greensboro approach, Greensboro altimeter is 3012.
3012, for Sierra Lima.
Remember, we're ascribing to the more nodes is better contour for the altitude change theory right now. Hopefully this doesn't make this thing drag like crazy in terms of performance. Probably will. Like, for a straight taxiway, you need to have all those points? Kinda. I understand how slanted this taxiway is. I think mostly this is just to make sure that I'm placing them, that I place the thing in the right spot. It's really about drawing it. That's not that the sim is going to do anything wrong.
Right now, I'm going to have to keep on your current up.
It's just that if I'm not
once you get a little bit closer,
right on top of these nodes, I can't tell exactly where the...
just to the west
I'm always looking at an angle, even if I'm not all that zoomed out.
Heavy precipitation moving to the north.
And so you can make little tiny changes, little tiny mistakes.
5239, 7 miles final approach fix. Turn left heading 260, maintain 3,000 till established localizer.
That when you do have a large elevation change, might look a little wrong in the sim.
Greensboro departure 7643 Golf, climbing 1,700,
this is
heading
interesting.
170.
It's wider.
7643 Golf, Greensboro departure, radar contact, altitude at your discretion, turn left direct Person County.
Altitude our discretion, left on course to Person County, 43 Golf.
Yep, mini snare. He's watching videos of his little brother's birthday party. Having a good time? Of course you are. What are you watching? That? Okay, thanks. So descriptive.
Air Force Sierra Lima, descend now to 10,000, then descend at pilot's discretion, maintain 5,000.
Descending to 10,000, then descend to 5,000 at pilot's discretion for Sierra Lima.
Air Force Sierra Lima, and at 10,000, clear at Southern Pines Airport.
Sorry, Fort Sierra, come back again?
There's Fort Sierra Lima at 10,000, or once you pass through 10,000, clear at Southern Pines Airport.
Once I pass 10,000.
You hear all those instructions you just gave? That's a lot of stuff you just told them to do.
Do 2,600.
And usually, if you're getting that many instructions, you got descend now, maintain 12,000, then be a pilot's discretion to maintain 5,000. That is an instruction because there's a 12,000 is where the top of our airspace, so it's basically somebody climbing. It's a jet going into Southern Pines Airport. So we got to get them down into our airspace before we can turn them, because per our LOA, with our letter of agreement, this is what that stands for, by the way, with Fayetteville approach, which is where Southern Pines airspace is, we have to have them direct to a VOR in Fayetteville's airspace called the Sand Hills VOR, Sierra Delta Zulu, and descending to 5,000 feet. So you'd say, and you can't turn them when they're in Atlanta Center's airspace above us, so we don't have control for that. So descend now, maintain 12,000, gets them down into our airspace, which stops at 12,000 feet. So the top is 12,000 feet. So we can turn them after that. Then via pilot's discretion, maintain 5,000. So once he's down into our airspace, he can go as fast as or slow as he wants down to 5,000, because we don't care about when he gets to 5,000. He just has to be descending to 5,000. Not at 5,000, so there's a difference there, and then leaving 10,000 clear direct Sand Hills is important because there's a shelf. There's a Washington Center sits above the southern part of our airspace. There's a shelf that they have 10,000 to 12,000, so we can only go up to 12 to 10,000 in that part. So you want to get him down, and once he's at 10,000, then it's safe to go direct to Sand Hills, because he won't be in Washington Center's airspace, of which we don't, again, no longer have control to turn the guy anymore. So a few interesting things going on there. Or, I mean, there could also be an aircraft at 11,000 that he's trying to get him around before he turns him too. So there's a whole lot of altitudes there. There's descend now, maintain 12,000, then via pilot's discretion, maintain 5,000. And at leaving 10,000, clear direct Sand Hills. There's 3 different altitudes. And really, he's just descending to 5. Okay, hang on. Uh-oh. Stop. Writing now? Find the things you can write. Is that good? Hold on, stop it. Stop pressing buttons.
Citation 5 Juliet Sierra, contact Washington Center 124.05. Have a good one.
Touch the screen.
2405,
The pencil.
865 Juliet Sierra, good day.
Cherokee 91 Whiskey, contact Tower 19-1. See you.
I builds A300. $9.90. Right on. I'm opening that link. Let's see what it goes to. No. You gotta use the touch the ruler. Touch the screen. Pen. Gotta touch this.
Greensboro approach, Cirrus 246 Julia Papa at 6,500, about to start descent.
There's 246 Julia Papa, Greensboro approach. Roger, Greensboro altimeter is 3012. Western San was driving runway 15 today, but although they might be able to accommodate a runway 22 operations for you. Maintain VFR at or above 4,500.
At above 4,500, thanks, Mr. Papa.
Oh. That's, oh. There you go. Blue. Now you're drawing them. Okay. Wow. Getting good at that. Is that the one that oh no. So this is for X-Plane. Yeah, that's what I thought. Boom 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 boom. What was I gonna say?
So, Cool Cessna 347
Twin Cessna 341.
I was gonna ask if that was the one that Nomad had been flying, but it's not even on the same sim, so I'm gonna take that as a no. Nomad's been flying the 330, right? That's the one he likes to fly sometimes.
Lance 17 Quebec, contact Washington Center 124.05. You have a good one.
I'm willing to bet we won't be seeing that again for a while. Got a second gremlin over here. It's getting toasty. The sim makes things hot. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez. No wonder it's getting so hot in here. Want me to clear it off so you can start over? Hey. Oh, that. I didn't even know you could do that. Can you do a circle? Let me see you do a circle, Aaron. It's not a circle. Circle. Yeah. Can you write the letter A? Can you write an A, Aaron? Gentle, gentle. Your sister is about to get very, 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 very jealous, Aaron. That would not be new for her.
Yellow.
There's 514 Sierra Lima. Currently, I got you going in between two weather cells of moderate precipitation, but by the time you get there, most likely that hole is going to be closing up for you.
I was kind of wondered. I always kind of wondered about that with the 310 versus the 330. Is they seem to be pretty much the same size.
Like near Stanford Tango Alpha Airport, and then goes southbound from there.
Roger, whatever you think is best for Fiona.
Or similar size, I should say.
I'll ask Fayetteville what they are doing over there, but as far as right now, at your current rate, it's going to look like you're going to have to
sprayed all over my iPad, didn't you?
Unless you go northbound for a good 15 or 20 miles.
Yeah, precipitation's okay for Fiona.
Okay. For 7643 Golf, contact Raleigh approach 132.35. See you.
32, was that 45?
King Air 218 Golf
35.
We're out of 18 and a half, going down to 111,000. We had trouble with the frequency from Atlanta. She held on to us quite long. Confirm that we're down to 111,000.
King Air 218 Golf Juliet affirmative, descend and maintain 1000, expect runway 15.
Identify
That sounds
yourself.
good. We do have Yankee.
7643 Golf affirmative on the frequency is 3235.
Oh, never got a chance to respond to him. That stinks. That guy's lost in frequency land now.
Save.
Good afternoon, approach. Mooney 90150 Zulu, quickie level 10,000.
Mooney 9150 Zulu Greensboro, approach Greensboro, altimeter is 3012.
3012.
King Air 8 Golf Juliet, descend and maintain 4000.
4,000, 218 Golf Juliet.
I just about got all this done. Alright, that's it. Raleigh eye.
And approach 64 metal Sportsman 678 sir. Getting the edge of my ability to hear you. So
Fighting over it. Don't want that.
Okay, I believe I got two at the same time. For the experimental aircraft, I believe your radio came extremely scratchy and unreadable. Say again.
Alright, let's come out of top-down mode, go to dev mode.
Okay,
Oh man, this thing's dragging big time. It's so choppy.
5.15.
Hey. Help. Dad.
Wow, that's choppy for that. I can't believe it looks like that. Usually doesn't. Oh, here's a spot right here that needs... No, I think I decided I wasn't doing that spot. The curve looks good. No real wonkiness here.
November 40 Lima, contact Fayetteville approach 127.8. They'll get you through that weather.
What's she doing at work? Oh, she's working my overtime. I originally had overtime tonight. Ditched it to stay here playing with all you folk. No, actually, that's not why. I gotta go back to church and I'll be there in an hour. Very important meeting tonight. This all seems to be working exactly as I need it to.
November 8 Golf Juliet, turn left heading 050.
050 for the heading for Golf Juliet.
All right. Couple last steps to do here. So we've got the apron in place for the entire taxiway, entirety of that portion of taxiway echo. There's one more piece right in here that we would want to do as well, but we're not going to do that currently. All right. Kids are exhausting. Okay.
November 5655
So,
Charlie, Greensboro approach.
I've showed you how to make the apron. That's how you make the apron. That's the surface, the taxiway surface. So I'm going to save. Make sure that whole thing gets saved in there. Taxiway echo. Wait a minute.
November 406 Charlie, Greensboro approach, altimeter 3012.
All right. Yeah, echo bridge, apron. Make it visible. Guess I want it to be invisible, don't I? Yeah. Okay. So, this is the next part of... So, taxiway echo, we're going to make sure that's selected, go up to objects. Apron, we're going to go down to light row. And add type. This is my preset for taxiway lights. Snap to vertices. Very nice. Okay, so now I'm going to use a combination. God, we've talked about all sorts of stuff. The A3 is the ancestor. The cockpit in the initial Airbus 300 looked nothing like modern Airbus cockpits. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I love Boeing wide-body aircraft, but you have to admit that Airbus managed to do something incredible business-wise. I mean, the common cockpit grabbing a large part of what used to be almost exclusively Boeing's market share. Yeah, Boeing manufactured the first reliable commercial jet. Airbus then became a true competitor. Yeah. I think they streamlined the process there, didn't they? Okay, so we're going to go here and make sure I know exactly where these lights start. 1, 2, 3 in that first section. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have the cool advantage of having a really nice mouse that's good for gaming, and it has this little button on the side of it that's kind of like a sniper mouse. It takes your whatever the DPI on your mouse is, and then you can all of a sudden hit it, and it just much higher fidelity. I haven't slowed my hand down at all. I just hit a button, and now it's a lot more fine control.
November 8 Golf
So
Juliet,
that's
turn
really
left
good for
heading
doing things like
330.
placing lights exactly where you want them inside of these circles, because I can slow it down so it doesn't move a whole lot. A little goes a long way otherwise. Okay, there's one. And then one here, and then not until the next one. Okay, then it skips one. One there. Skips one. There's one. So I think we can pretty safely just go ahead and
November
pop them
47
on
Kilo,
these little
contact
spots.
Washington Center 124.05. Good
Oh,
day.
there's another one.
Repeat that for 434
Some
Kilo.
curvature here, so
November
they're
47
becoming
Kilo,
more
contact
common.
Washington Center 124.05.
124.05. You have a good day, guys.
November 6 Juliet Papa, turn right heading 300, vector for Winston.
300, 6 o'clock.
Greensboro, how you doing? Bushwick 5354 is 11, descending 10, leave India.
Bushwick 5354, Greensboro approach, altimeter 3012, cleared direct to Heavid, descend and maintain 3000.
3012, direct to Heaven, descend 3000, Bushwick 5354.
November 8 Golf Juliet, turn left heading 230, descend and maintain 3000. Advise when you get Winston-Salem in sight.
Okay, down to 3,000 at 230 heading. We'll give you Winston-Salem in sight for Golf Juliet.
November 55 Charlie, descend and maintain 3000.
The button's reverse in top-down mode, so I'm going up when I want to go down, and it's kind of annoying.
King Air 8 Golf Juliet, descend and maintain 2500.
500 Golf Juliet.
November 406 Charlie, reset your transponder, squawk 2572.
2572, Charlie.
It's good for people to have a sort of exposure to what real air traffic
November
control sounds
5655
like too,
Charlie,
especially in the
Marshall
simming
Airport,
world.
12 o'clock in 6 miles.
Just how like routine these things are, how often we say them, so we know them so well, and everything is very businesslike, and it's very different than bad sim in that respect. Bad sim can be a bit of a
218 Golf Juliet. We do have Winston-Salem in sight.
wild, wild
November 8
west.
Golf Juliet, thanks. Cleared visual approach, runway 15, contact Winston Tower 123.75. Good day.
Totally just guessed on that curve there.
12375 Golf Juliet.
Is that embedded? Why would that be embedded? Whatever, it's getting a standard. I was right though.
Airport in sight,
So we're on that hash. Yes, there
November
is.
55 Charlie, cleared visual approach, Martinsville Airport. Report cancellation of IFR this frequency prior to landing or on the ground via the remote. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Okay, 55 Charlie is cleared for the visual, and we will cancel IFR at this time. 55 Charlie.
November 55
Oh,
Charlie.
these
Thanks,
are all
IFR
just
cancellation
things you
received.
just
Have a good
never
day.
hear on VADSIM. Nobody does. Nobody does these things.
2628, leveling off 11,000, information India.
Guess I can do that last
2628,
one there
Greensboro
too.
approach, altimeter 3011.
Boom.
3011, thanks.
265354, Greensboro
Alright.
Airport, 12 o'clock in 16 miles.
Blue Street 5354.
Blue Streak 5354, cleared visual approach, runway 23 right, contact tower 191. Good day.
For the visual 23 right, go over to tower, Blue Street 5354, take care.
You can see the dip.
Yes, sir. Citation 823 Juliet Sierra at
This is a big one.
1,025 this side of Greensboro.
November 823.
Alright guys, we're kind of winding down here a little bit. Finish these
Descend
lights and then I think we'll
10,000.
call her quits for the day. I have a feeling I missed a whole bunch.
823 Juliet Sierra.
Delta 2628, descend and maintain 8,000.
8,000, Delta 2628.
Oh no, let's go across. So they got these spots for if this taxiway ever turns and goes someplace else. Which I think the original plan was to possibly make it a back way into this FedEx ramp.
Greensboro approach, 062 Papa.
But I think there's also a chance that they make this taxiway go connect with this one.
Who was that calling?
Sirius 246 Juliet Papa.
November 6 Juliet Papa Roger, you can proceed to the airport, contact Winston Tower.
If it gets busier, or a lot of airplanes need access over here. I don't know. We'll see. There might be some other ramp space out here that they want to attach to, but it's there. There's also built-in future expansion for out here. This is the end of the FedEx ramp. This is a FedEx hub, our airport. Big old building there with a whole bunch of parking spaces. Pretty much all jets except for one Caravan now, I think. Or not Caravan, ATR that comes in. But yeah, so right outside of their ramp, this is a kind of a problem spot in our airport. Right outside of the ramp, there's this taxiway, which they have built-in expansion, and so you can see the little light spots here for centerline lighting. And these are the current taxiway lights, edge lights. But anyway, more light spots for anyway, in case this runway is ever extended, which I think they actually are trying to work on.
Zulu. There's an
But
area of precipitation, 12
they want to do that in the
about 20
future.
miles.
Here's a problem spot on our airport.
Right is necessary.
Here's the terminal. Airplanes come out, start taxiing down, taxiway Kilo. Kilo's the only one that goes to the end of the runway. Juliet stops like here, stops being movement area right here on this line, and then goes into this ramp, and that's all just ramp access. You can see where that movement line is, movement area denotation, and then this is a security zone, this blue line's. FedEx has it as well, and the whole entire terminal ramp is considered to be a terminal, a security area. But anyway, as I was saying, so the problem here is people go taxiing down Kilo to get to the end of runway 23 left. This is Kilo 6 right here. And they see that the taxiway keeps going, so they figure, well, the end of the runway is at the end of the taxiway, like it is in most cases. And so you get people that taxi, like, have to taxi into the FedEx ramp, which they're past the security lines, which nobody's really all that happy about, because there's not really room to turn around here. But, for larger aircraft anyway, so you get people that taxi too far, you're not really supposed to go past. This becomes non-movement, like on the other side of... Is there a line for it? This line right here, I guess, technically, but we say it's all non-movement area down here. But it's not technically. So they go down there, then you gotta flip around and come back. That happens a couple times a week. More than it should. So yeah, we call it a hotspot. It's not because there's risk of collision or like runway incursion, but probably because you're going to taxi into a non-movement area and be stuck there. Alright, one more line of lights, and I think we are done. So starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then turn. One more line. One last time. So let's create the new group for these lights. What is it? Edge lights is what we're calling these. Edge
Number 4939,
lights.
maintain 4,000.
That was the first line in that edge light row. So click that.
Endeavor 4939.
And we're going to add another object. Back down here on this side. And we'll start right there. 2, 3, 4.
November 9 Mike November, descend and maintain 4,000, turn
That
left
fifth one
heading
was on the hash,
050.
wasn't it? Yep. And
4,000 left,
5.
050 for 9 November.
There we go.
And we got the Winston Airport side fill up.
November 9 Mike November, cleared visual approach, runway 15.
Cleared the visual 15, 9 November.
Isn't it interesting how they all kind of parallel? There's the exact same number of lights on both sides, so that's how you get a good idea of if you're putting them in the right spots or not. They match the other side.
2628, traffic no factor, descend and maintain 3,000.
It's not always going to be the case, but for a straight taxiway that doesn't have any turnoffs like this, they should all match. Nowhere to turn off. Match, match, match. Way down here. So now in this case, we have you can tell that there's a drop right here, but there isn't. It's not important that the path in between the vertices that we're drawing, the nodes that we're drawing, contour with the ground. It's going to kind of, it just matters that the vertices snap to the ground, which they do by default.
2375, 9 November, see ya.
Because then they will follow the contour of the ground also. But the path in between is just meaningless. It doesn't do anything. It just connects the whole string together. It's not like they won't get power or anything if you don't connect the string correctly. That would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? I could actually control the power produced by the power. It'd actually be nice to be able to put some sort of a function to when these things turn on and off. Like, if it's not nighttime, keep the dang lights off. They shouldn't be on all day, all night. You can see approach lights in this sim like miles and miles and miles away at every airport around, whether they're, you know, open or not, whether you would not, even at a non-towered airport that has approach lights or runway lights or something like that, you would not be able to see the approach lights to those airports during non-business hours.
Turn right heading 180.
Right, turn 180.
Right, go. I don't think there's one more.
2628, turn right heading 140, and the turn, the field will be 2 o'clock, 10 miles.
No, that's the last one.
Right
Okay.
turn 140 heading, and airport in sight for Delta 2628.
But in this sim, you can see these things so far away.
Tower, 19-1, good day.
Intensity is something I'm going to mess with, I think, a little bit. This is not, it's not, what is, it's like the one spot where it's not, they're not even.
Endeavor 4939, descend to maintain 3,000. Traffic to follow, 1 o'clock, about 7 miles, a Boeing 737 at 3,300.
Descend to maintain 3,000. Traffic in sight, airport in sight, Endeavor 4939.
Endeavor 4939, thanks. Follow that traffic. Cleared visual approach, runway 23 right, contact tower, 19-1. Good day.
Follow the traffic, clear for visual 23 right, over the tower, 19-1, Endeavor 4939.
Okay. So this is what y'all came to see, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and back to the developer mode, see how bad this thing chugs now. It's still, wow, choppy, choppy, choppy. Alright, so we don't see anything currently. Let's turn the apron back on.
006 Charlie, descend to maintain
Wrong
6,000.
apron. There it is. Echo bridge is on. Spectre mode. Doop-a-doop. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-boop-boo. Uh-oh. Okay, I see what I did wrong. Okay, so we go to this second row of lights. I did not click the snap to vertices. Now I have clicked snap to vertices. There was not a light at every vertice.
November 91500.
Like they're not in the right spot.
Charlotte approach 128.32.
Okay, now there they are.
Charlotte 2832, 500, good day.
Alright, good. Okay, so now that we're done with that, now I can go to inspector mode. And weather, go to nighttime. Boom. There's what I created.
Greensboro approach, November 70, November Charlie.
November 70, November Charlie, Greensboro approach.
November 70, November Charlie, we're P28 Bravo with information Julia just south of Blues Lake, inbound for landing.
November 0, November Charlie, squawk 0172.
0172.
And that's how you do that, guys.
Golf area, moderate to heavy precipitation.
So now we went from just having it up to here to having it all the way down to there. So you can almost access this runway from the ramp. We're getting close.
Radar contact about 11 miles north of the field. Advise when you get runway 23 right in sight.
So I am going to end it there.
November Charlie.
November 0, November Charlie, thanks. Enter straight in.
Isn't it pretty how it lights up at night time?
Good day.
It wouldn't actually be kind of cool if it just kind of looked like that all the time. Get an airport to look like that. With all these little green lights and stuff. That's not too bad. So anyway, that's the outlines of everything. Then we go to hit inspector mode, and now it's just what it looks like in the sim. This is the Piedmont Triad International Airport, KGSO, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Citation 3 Juliet Sierra, contact Charlotte approach 128.32. Good day.
2832, 3 Juliet Sierra, come on.
So, thing about taxiway lights, you can't see them very far away. So intensity is something I need to work on. I'm going to have to, when I put in custom, I custom place the landing lights. I'm going to have to try to mess with those too, because right now it's weird, like bi-directional thing where like if you get alongside of it, you can't see them at all. That is not what runway lights are like in real life. You can see them sideways, topways, upways, downways. Doesn't matter. You can see them everywhere. And we don't have those weird yellow ones that you can see there at the end when you get down to the last 1,000 feet or whatever. We don't have that. So, yeah. That's going to change when I... But I think it's because it embeds them? Does it embed them? I forget. No, those are not embedded. But for some reason, they're just made so that you can't see them on the side. Taxiways, you can. Like, I can see all these still. Go alongside of it, I can still see them all. For the most part. Some of them kind of warp in and out. This has got to be really hard to see on the stream. This dark stuff is hard. Yeah, this is the airport I work at, Orca, so that's why I'm doing it. And the one I have all my experience pretty much flying in and out of. Not all of it. I've flown to other airports, but this is where I got my private pilot's license, and so it's fun. Properly, accurately placed taxiway lights. Whew. All right, guys. It has been a little over 3 hours. 3 hours, 20 minutes we're coming up on. Oh, DigiDriver. Good. You got here just in time to see the sort of the fruits of the labor here. Or the product of the labor, I should say. So I've got taxiway all the way down to here now, and I've got lights. We just added the lights. That was it's really fast in comparison to the rest of it. Look at that, magically daytime again. You notice we're not chugging quite as much. So This is what we've got. Got all of this lighter paved portion all the way down to here, and then the taxiway bridge attaches to there. So all of that is one big piece now. Let's check the seams here. Remember, I did a direct kind of copy of nodes, so they sit right on top of each other. Looks good.
I was calling Greensboro again.
November 5004 Yankee, we'd like to pick up VFR flight following to Kilo Juliet.
And it contours with the wonky terrain here, which is, this is not what it's like in real life, guys. This is just the stupid way that it's loaded it in right now. Actually, this is taxiway bridge right across here again, so that's why it's dipping down, because it doesn't see the bridge.
Reset your transponder and squawk 2041.
2041, November 5004.
That's the latest taxiway echo. Yeah, I colored it pretty well, I think. It's all coming out pretty nicely. Yeah, mesh. So the terraforming is going to be fun. So the thing you should be able to terraform the heck out of it, and all of this stuff should still be the same. I think is how it's supposed to work, because it just drapes over the mesh just like the textures do. So hopefully, me messing with the elevation data, which Google Earth is really good for, by the way, it will help. It should hopefully all hold up. That part, that's something I have zero experience with, so that's going to be another new frontier for me as well. So we'll all have to learn together. But anyway, that's how you make a scenery apron, like a taxiway apron. That's how you change the color. You saw how I changed the color of it a little bit, especially with that cement, the portion that's just a cement taxiway bridge down here. That actually looks way better than what it looked like in X-Plane. And then also how you add a line of properly placed, accurately placed taxiway lights. So, pretty cool little tutorial if you watched 3 hour and 20 minute stream. Twitch can be a grind, man. I know how it goes. That's why I don't even pay that much attention to it anymore. I get on when I can, and if I don't, no biggie. But it's not good for building an audience, a steady audience, that's for sure. But that's not really what I'm into right now. I think I'm on once or twice a week, and people know where to find me. So I'm not trying to make a living out of this.
Foothills 92, contact
but I'm having a good time, and I think I'll have to do I'll do a little YouTube tutorial video of this at some point that'll probably get thousands of views, or at least hundreds of views. Whereas my stream gets 5-6 viewers. so YouTube is where it's at. That's why I'm leaning towards heading in that direction very soon. I've already started moving in that direction, actually. So anyway, guys, it's been great. I appreciate you all. I appreciate the conversation. So many different things we talked about. I think everybody's been enjoying it. It's relaxing. It's not as sort of stressful, and there's not as many things I need to do right this minute like there are when you're flying. So there's kind of a really good opportunity for chat and some stuff going on. And I can kind of talk while I do this too. So it's all just a nice way to spend an afternoon. So thanks for being along for the ride, and we'll be back with more. Hopefully we'll learn a little bit more, and we'll be able to get some paint down on this these surfaces here soon, in addition to the lights. So good to see you guys. Yeah, the taxiway light placement is paramount. It is of paramount importance. It really is important stuff. So if you guys are not already following on this channel, well, you should be. Oh, look, my VOD from yesterday on Twitch is now on YouTube. So there's that. Go check that out. Did it put it right in the...
American 2366, Charlotte departure, radar contact, time maintain 16,000.
16,000.
So it's showing it there, but I don't... God, it looks terrible. It hasn't processed the HD yet.
At 518, turn right heading 180.
What is it?
join
It's a
275.
3 hour and 49 minute stream, so it's going to take it a while to process through all that. So if you haven't followed this channel already, please go ahead and pound that follow button right now. I think pretty much everybody in here has followed already, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. But if you're not already watching me on my YouTube channel, find that little YouTube link that is in
518, contact Atlanta Center,
where is it?
128.8 today.
It is somewhere. It's down on the About Me part. There's a whole bunch of links there, and if you are certainly free to click any one of those. And join up. You can join up on my Discord, or you can also join my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, which is really not all that. Once I start getting some people on there, I'll start actually putting more content on it. But here's the link to the YouTube if you don't already have it, guys. Give me a subscribe over on that side too. That'd be great, because I'm going to be streaming a lot more on that side, and I can't do both at the same time. They don't let you do that. They're not really big fans of the sharing of things. Plus, you sign in when you become a Twitch affiliate. You basically sign a non or it's an exclusivity agreement. So like all my streams, I have to if I stream on Twitch, it has to be exclusive to Twitch for 24 hours. So that's why 24 hours later I can upload it to YouTube, which I just did for the first time. So check that out. Join me on my Discord, and I will try to be in there more often. I'm currently in Nomad's Discord, which thanks for letting me borrow your space there, Nomad. This also doesn't kick you to a AFK room. Boom, there I am. Now I'm in my Discord. So yeah, join me up on there, and we'll chat soon, and we'll keep in touch. So have a great rest of the day or night for everybody involved, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, guys.